A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Detective Agency?
Finitum est.
Mr. Who?
Finitum est. It is finished. Latin.
Oh. Sam?
What's left of me, sweetheart?
Well, where are you? What happened? Who did it?
Here, everything, and what?
What?
No, I asked you first.
Sam.
Now you're making sense.
Well, did that Mr. Marchus get in touch with you?
Demortuus nil nisi bonum.
Oh, Sam, stop it.
Second year Latin, F. Speak well of the dead.
You mean he's dead?
If you have tears, prepare to shed them now. This one ends up worse than Rigoletto. Have your extra handkerchief ready, get some organ music on the radio, and I'll be down to dictate my report on the Tears of Night Caper.
Dashiell Hammett, America's leading detective fiction writer and creator of Sam Spade, the hard-boiled private eye, and William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, join their talents to make your hair stand on end with the adventures of Sam Spade. Presented by the makers of Wild Root Cream Oil for the hair. You know, just a little Wild Root Cream Oil in your hair can mean a world of improvement in your general appearance. Just try it and see. See how Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic grooms your hair neatly and naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose dandruff. Yes, you'll be glad to discover that just a few drops of Wild Root Cream Oil make a big difference. So if you've never tried it before, get the 25-cent get-acquainted size and ask for it by name. Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. And now, with Howard Duff starring as Spade, Wild Root brings to the air the greatest private detective of them all in the adventures of Sam Spade.
Many things, F.
But it's also kind of raw. Oh, Sam.
In time, Effie, my wounds will heal.
Oh, I'll bet that Mamie Gagan had something to do with it. I could tell when she came in here that she was going to be...
Demortuus nil nisi bonum.
Huh?
Latin. Speak well of the dead, remember?
Oh, yes.
One thing at a time, sweetheart. Let's get this over with. I want to find a doctor.
Oh, you're so brave, Sam. Carrying on in the face of your face.
Sure.
You won't be satisfied until you just die for your profession.
Well, if I do, nil nisi bonum, Effie. Nil nisi bonum.
That means?
Latin means, you have bony knees.
Oh.
Date, July 24, 1949, to Miss Daphne Arlington from Samuel Spade, San Francisco, license number 137596. Subject, the Tears of Night. Dear Daphne, I hope this will clear up a few things in your mind. I hope it'll let you know how you got where you are and what happened to put you there. It all has an illogical beginning, middle, and end. At 3, yesterday afternoon, my loyal secretary and confidant, Miss Effie Perrine, a doll, who has been rehearsing a Cockney play for television, flung open my office door and said,
Miss Mamie Gagan to see Mr. Spade.
I said, Cooey. Miss Mamie Gagan looked everything the name implied, from her lately blonded hair to her genuine alligator shoes. I might add, she weighed in at approximately 160 and was in very good condition.
You, Spade.
I am he. Sit down, please.
Ah.
Don't you believe me?
I hate gumshoes. They all stink.
Something in your background. Perhaps as a girl. I'm just assuming that you were one.
All gumshoes are nosy. They talk too much. That's why I don't like them. Here.
For me?
Who else, stupid?
Oh. And it says, pay to the order of Samuel Spade, $100, signed Mamie Gagan, co-signed Johnny McCall. All right, is it good?
You wise guy or something? Sure it's good. I'm the treasurer. Get your hat.
In this weather?
We're going to go see Johnny.
McCall?
Yeah.
Why are we going to see Johnny?
Johnny wants you should do something for him.
What does Johnny want I should do for him?
Come on, Spade, what's the matter with you? He'll tell you.
I just love to hear you talk, Mame, that's all.
All this gas ain't getting us nowhere. The boss is waiting. Gumshoes talk too much.
Yes, ma'am. Well, maybe we do, but ours is a lonely profession. Mamie led me to a large Cadillac parked in a no-parking zone. She tore the ticket up and ate it. We got in and charged through traffic towards Burlingame. About a half a mile this side of the main highway, we turned off to the left, and pretty soon we were winding up a private road to a fine old colonial mansion. 2 or 3 private patrolmen were guarding the entrance. They all needed shaves. They kind of nodded as we went up the front door. Naturally enough, it didn't open, but a peep shutter did.
Yeah.
It's me, Feely. This is the private keeper the boss wants to see. Open up.
Okay.
How are you feeling, Mr. Feely?
Screw. All kinds of folks around.
This way, Spade.
How is it?
Mamie, I got your peepers.
Okay.
Inside. Here he is, Johnny, flat feet and all. His name's Spade.
They are not.
I know. I picked him myself. Go on, beat it.
I hate gumshoes.
Boo.
Don't mind Mamie. She's kind of bitter.
Yes, she is.
We did a lousy job on her hair last time. It's all streaky.
Yeah, I noticed.
Go on, sit down.
Nice place, Johnny. Nice place. How's the growth?
Oh, ain't as good as running beer, but them days are gone. I do all right. 2 crap tables, 2 faro games, a little roulette in the living room, but I have to be careful.
Yeah, you seem to have plenty of muscle outside to keep you safe and comfy.
Punks, all of them. But the best I can get nowadays, no good gunsels left. Guess they all got married and settled down or something.
All right, Johnny, it's cool and it's nice out here. You make a living, and I got a check for $100. Why?
Well, in my line, I don't generally have much use for a private eye. I don't generally like them.
Neither does Mamie.
But I can use one right now. Ever see this before? No? Well, it's a little bit of necklace.
Necklace case.
Called the Tears of Night or something.
Yeah?
And it's worth quite a chunk of Geetus. These 4 diamonds are good stuff. Dame named Daphne Arlington left it here a week ago when she went in for a plunge at the roulette table. She left it for a standby till she raised the cash. Oh, a screwy dame. You know, a widow with a lot of money. Boyfriend named Lenny Eppich. He paints or something. Mm-hmm. Well, she sent me a check today for the 5 G's she lost, and I just want you to take this thing back to her.
That all?
Yeah, that's all. I got my dough, she gets a necklace. You're a licensed bonded investigator, insured, it's safe with you. I couldn't trust any of my punks with it, and I don't like to be seen in public, so you just take it back. It's all very simple.
Uh-huh. Now that you've told me how simple it is, suppose you give me the unexpurgated sequel. Did her check bounce?
All right. You want a drink? There wasn't any check, Sam. She called me a couple of hours ago and said if I didn't have this thing back to her by tonight, she'd call a load of cops and come out here and tear the joint apart.
Not such a screwy dame at that. You're stuck?
You telling me. If she comes with cop, I'm closed for season. I'm getting old.
Oh, you're not old, Johnny.
Feely was running the table, and I didn't know he'd taken this thing for security until we counted up.
Stupid Feely.
I should have pushed his mush in or something. Letting a dame like that make us a setup.
Well, maybe you'll do better next time.
Oh, ain't gonna be no next time, Spade. Well, here's her address. Here's the ice. Just take it to her, and I'll chalk it up to experience.
You better get yourself a new boy at that table, Johnny.
You telling me.
Well, bye.
Lenny, I thought you'd never get here. The performance begins at 8:30, and you know how the traffic is, and if we're going to have a bite to eat... You aren't Lenny. Where's Lenny?
I don't know, Miss Arlington. I'm supposed to deliver some jewelry.
Jewelry? That would be mortuous. Mortuous.
Mortuous. Yes, but I...
What are you looking at?
Your throat.
Really? Well, really, Mr.
Spade, Sam Spade.
Well, really, Mr. Spade. I'm only waiting for Lenny to get here so we can make the first curtain of streetcar. And we're going to be late if he doesn't get here. You can understand that, Mr. Spade.
You're going to be a little early. Streetcar doesn't open until Monday.
Well, already, and he hasn't shown up. Well, good night, Mr. Spade.
Hey. The white ermine cape you were wearing and the black strapless thing needed a touch, but you had it. A diamond necklace. In fact, the Tears of Night, the same one I had in my pocket, Daphne, was hanging around your lovely neck. I rebuzzed your buzzer and knocked on your door for quite a while until it was quite evident that you were not going to open up. Under the hallway light, I snapped over the necklace case. Mortuous, you had said. And mortuous was what it said stamped inside the case. A gloomy word with a gloomy address. The White Hotel on Turk Street.
Hannibal Mortuous. At your service, sir.
If ever a man had the look of death, it was this one who had its name. He was older than old, cadaverous, and in his skull-like head his eyes were white. He was wearing a flannel nightshirt.
You find me a bit indisposed, Mr. Spade. And the clerk at the desk said it was a matter of jewelry. Therefore, Hannibal Mortuus is at your service. Now then, sir, what is so urgent?
I came to ask you about a diamond necklace. I found your name stamp on the inside here.
House of Mortuus, most respected name in diamonds, as well as all the lapidary arts. Most respected. Fine jewels and the name Mortuus is synonymous the world over. I am the last of 4 sons. But continue, Mr. Spade.
Well, I just want you to take a look at this.
Mm-hmm. And how do you come in possession of the Tears of Night, sir?
Well, a man named Johnny McCall, who runs a gambling club, hired me to deliver it to a lady named Daphne Arlington. She lost it at the roulette table. She left it there until she could raise the cash.
Deplorable conduct on my part. Daphne Arlington, most indiscreet young lady, to be sure. I recall my interview with her when her late husband, Sidney, ordered this necklace. A lovely body, propelled by a ridiculous mind. For shame, such conduct, a gambling house, the Tears of Night, a pawn.
Well, this is real, then? It isn't phony?
Mr. Spade, I am a gemologist. The House of Mortuus. Of course it's real.
Take a good look.
When an artist creates a dazzling thing of beauty such as this, would he be so unlikely as to forget the time, the patience, the agony of his creation? See how each stone is carefully mounted to capture every single pinpoint of light.
Mm-hmm.
An incomparable masterpiece. And for the money.
How much money?
The wholesale market, about 10,000.
Arlington?
He paid 25, but he had it, as I say, incomparable.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I saw another one just like it tonight.
Ridiculous. The finest workman at best could only create a crude resemblance. This kind of work demands an artist, sir, an artist. But tell me, Latin languis elba,
My second year Latin escapes me.
Snake in the grass. Something wrong?
Something wrong, yeah.
You are concerned for the safety of this piece. I have a small safe in my room. You may have the key if you care.
I'll take it with me. Thank you, Mr. Mortuus.
My pleasure, Mr. Spade. Omnia Mortuus bonum vocates. All speak well of Mortuus, a punzer. Good evening.
In the dismal lobby of the White Hotel, I asked the night clerk for some wrapping paper and 20 cents worth of stamps. It was a hunch, plus the fact that outside in the street I spotted 2 of Johnny McCall's unshaved gorillas. They were looking up at the front of the building. Mr. Mortuus must have switched off his light or something because their eyes suddenly dropped and I saw them separate, one on each side of the front door. With shoulders carefully hunched, I stepped out into the lonesome night. I hoped they would think I was carrying my .38, which I was not. They didn't.
Here's the paper, Candy. You want to ask him for a match? Candy's nearsighted.
That's too bad.
This him, Ernest? Got a match, Spade?
Yeah, not so close.
Candy asked if you got a match. He's a dummy, Candy. He don't answer.
Got a match, Spade?
What did I tell you? He's a dummy.
He don't look like no dummy.
Take your hands off.
He's a dummy, all right. Ain't you, Spade? See, he's a dummy, Candy. I told him about you being nearsighted and he wouldn't answer.
He don't talk.
Go on, smart boy. Tell Candy how sorry you are about him being nearsighted. I told you he was a dummy, Candy.
All private eyes like you.
Candy asked you a question. He wants to know if all private eyes is like you.
I don't like no dummy.
We ask questions and he ain't told us nothing. That makes him a dummy.
Maybe we find out something if we went through his pockets.
Yeah, even a dummy's got pockets. Ain't that right, dummy? Hold him, Candy.
All right, boys. You played the scene real good, and I'll see what I can do for you.
Hey, he talks.
Yeah. Make him talk again, Candy. Make him talk bigger, Candy. Bigger.
He talks real nice, but he don't say much. Think maybe he's tough, Ernest?
Yeah, maybe. Hold him up.
See? He ain't so tough.
No, I wasn't. And I didn't feel like talking on that quiet little street where the only noise was my face pounding on their fists. I didn't have the necklace anymore, but they had to find out the hard way. The hard way for me.
The makers of Wild Root Cream Oil are presenting the weekly Sunday adventure of Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, Sam Spade. Now, here's important news on good grooming. If you want the well-groomed look that helps you get ahead, socially and on the job, listen. Recently, thousands of people from coast to coast who bought Wild Root Cream Oil for the first time were asked, how does Wild Root Cream Oil compare with the hair tonic you previously used? The results were amazing. Better than 4 out of 5 who replied said they preferred Wild Root Cream Oil. Remember, non-alcoholic Wild Root Cream Oil contains lanolin. It grooms the hair naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose, ugly dandruff. So if you want your hair to be more attractive than ever before, get the generous new 25-cent size of Wild Root Cream Oil, America's leading hair tonic, on sale at all drug and toilet goods counters. It's also available in larger economy bottles and the handy new tube. By the way, smart girls use Wild Root Cream Oil, too, and mothers say it's grand for training children's hair. Get Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. And now, back to the Tears of Night Caper. Tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
I remember trying to wake up a couple of times. I was dreaming that we were driving along in a giant Cadillac. Big Mamie was sitting on my lap. She was eating a diamond necklace and spitting out cherry pits, which Mr. Mortuus grabbed, looked at through his jeweler's glass, and then tossed into a roulette wheel. Then we had a blowout, and the whole car vanished with everybody screaming, "The Mortuus, the Mortuus." Somewhere around 7 in the a.m., I began to get a feeling. Several feelings, and all of them hurt. I had been dumped in the grass in a fairly nice neighborhood. In your neighborhood, as a matter of fact, Daphne. And 5 minutes later, I was climbing the steps to your apartment. I thought maybe you'd let me wash my face in your bathroom. Also, you seemed the logical one to question since nothing else made sense. You were sitting in a large chair. The drapes were drawn, the door was slightly open, and only the light from the hall seeped in. You had the phone in your lap. The receiver was off. My guess was right. You were looking at nothing.
Oh, Mr. Spade, it's you. You came back. You've been in an accident.
I don't think you'll need this.
Oh, well then, Mr. Spade. Well then, I suppose you've met some people tonight who know a great deal about me.
A gambler or a jeweler?
Did they tell you about Lenny Effich?
No.
He's really a dear, Mr. Spade. Quite the nicest boy I've met since Sidney was killed in that horrible automobile accident. Sidney and I had so many things together. I do think he enjoyed being alive with me. I mean, I cried when Sidney was killed. I really did. I cried.
Miss Arlington,
I didn't know what to do. I cried. That was 3 years ago, but now I have Lenny. He's really a dear. I do think that Lenny will be a very prominent artist someday. I do. Lenny asked me to marry him tonight.
He did?
I've been very lonely since Sidney died. Lenny isn't interested in my money. Lenny has some money of his own. What? Enough. I can't get my tongue adjusted to my mouth. Did that ever happen to you, Mr. Spade?
Sometimes, yes.
But perhaps I should see a correctionist. I'm glad you came by again. I didn't know you were a detective the first time.
Who told you?
Why, Mr. McCall. I really can't understand money.
Please, Miss Arlington.
I know it must be strange to you. Look at them. But some people live for it. Some people die for it.
Please, Miss Arlington, we can't get anything done.
Look, they do look so funny. So very funny. I've seen them count money. So much money. And I really believe that's all I live for. Look at me.
You were pointing at something across the darkened room. It took me 10 seconds to find the light switch. Stretched out on your floor, they looked funny, all right. Candy and Ernest. Both of them as dead as you can get.
I knew you'd telephone and give me your answer. I knew you'd marry me.
Your name, Lenny Effich?
What? Why, yes, but I was expecting...
My name's Spade. I'm a private investigator. I'm calling from her apartment.
Daphne's?
Now, listen. There's been a couple of murders here.
Murders?
She's had quite a jolt. She's going to need you and all the help she can get to bring her out of it. I've called homicide, and it might be pretty rough for her.
I'll be right over.
Bring a doctor.
Right.
And a lawyer. I'm afraid she'll need one of those, too.
I've got a good one. We'll be there. Thanks, Mr. Spade.
He showed up about the same time the crew from homicide got there. If the answer is a good guy. He talked fast and urgently, as did the doctor and lawyer he brought with him, and through their combined efforts, you were removed not to police headquarters, but to the private hospital in which you are now a patient. It was obvious from the powder test that you could not have fired the .45 which ended the lives of Candy and Ernest. It was also obvious that the murders had been done elsewhere. But who had done them remained to be seen.
Spade, I've been expecting you. Come in, sir. I've been amusing myself with your chessboard. Sit down. Oh, you had a hectic night.
Yeah, your boys were pretty rough.
Candy and Ernest. Two men of another world, Mr. Spade, not our world. Allow me to apologize for that action.
I want more than an apology, Mr. Mortuus. And if that's my gun and it looks like it, it's got a hair trigger. And if you'll pardon me for saying so, your hands are a little shaky.
I underestimated you, Spade. Such an ingenious method of protecting the tears of night. Why, sir, by the simple expedient of placing it in an envelope and mailing it to yourself from my hotel lobby, you hired as guardians the entire United States Postal Service, not to mention the armed forces.
Thanks. What happens now?
We wait for the mail.
Just tell me where I'm wrong, will you, Mr. Mortuus? McCall wanted me to get caught with it. He didn't know it was real. You'd made a phony for him. Only you found out it wasn't phony when I came to your place. Then there was a double cross.
If you can bear my vanity, I have invented a new word. Triple cross. It has a ring to it,
Oh. Including Mamie?
Mamie and her friends have been very valuable to me, but I must necessarily exclude them from sharing the profits.
Mamie knocked off Candy and Ernest?
Abetted by the last of the House of Mortuus.
You planted them in Daphne's place.
Mamie and I. A crude touch, I thought, but it had a purpose. I happen to know that Mrs. Arlington has for a long time been on the verge of a nervous breakdown. With 2 cadavers in her living room, she was very unlikely to discuss a bogus necklace with the police. And I doubt very much if she knew she was wearing the original or the imitation. Flighty girl.
That's the lousiest thing the House of Mortuus ever did. She walked in and found them.
If you had merely returned the real necklace to her, it would have been simple to make an exchange, and none of this would have been necessary. But
I know. You just sit here and wait for the mail.
We wait for the mail.
What about your other playmate?
I'm afraid I'll be sought for a murder or 2 or 3 this night. Mamie.
She got it, too?
Yes.
Where are the police going to find her?
Oh, in my hotel room, which I departed hastily once the room clerk had informed me of your ingenious method for protecting the necklace. I shot her there.
You work cheap.
Cheap, sir? I don't understand.
A $10,000 necklace? It's not quite a king's ransom, you know.
The tears of night are worth 5 times that. I'm afraid I misinformed you as to their value. I didn't want you to become suspicious.
You are a really horrible, terrifying old man. I suppose you think you'll get away with it.
I don't intend to get away with it. An old man, yes, but I intend to spend my remaining years...
They'll pick you up before you get to the airport.
I doubt that. I shall turn the tears of night into cash. And with a well-laden purse, I shall guarantee to elude the police over half the world. In 2 years, perhaps 3, they'll get me. But I have spent the money.
We have a visitor.
Caution, Spade. I do shoot well. Answer it, tell them to go away. I'll be right beside you. All right. Open it.
One side, Spade, I got a gun.
Obvious.
Mamie.
I thought I'd find you here waiting for the mail. You dirty. You didn't do such a good job on me.
Caution, my dear. I have a gun, too.
Everybody but me.
I can last long enough to let you have it.
Not so good, my dear. Your loss of blood has made you groggy.
But still good enough to...
Well, where?
It was almost a photo finish. He kind of leaned into the wall with a pained and amazed look on his face, then he seemed to try to walk.
Mr. Spade. Mr. Spade, sir, I believe I've been shot. I'll need a little assistance. I can't seem to hold my feet, sir. I can't seem to hold my feet. This was an awkward plan at best. The mortuus nil nisi bonum, Spade. or if your second-year Latin escapes your memory, speak well the day.
Period and a report.
Oh, Sam. All those people.
4 in all.
And that poor girl, Daphne. How she must have felt when she saw it. Oh, Sam.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
You poor darling.
Well, it's about time.
Now, you go right home. In fact, I'm going to take you home.
Yeah? Then what?
Well,
You are a registered nurse, maybe?
well, I...
Go type that up. I am completely well, and when you return, we shall Indian wrestle.
Certainly, sir.
And now, listen to this. Shopping note. Tonight or tomorrow, get a family-sized bottle or handy tube of Wild Root Cream Oil, America's favorite hair tonic.
Oh, yes. Good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, are produced and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade is played by Howard Duff. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. The Adventures of Sam Spade are written for radio by Bob Tallman and Gil Dowd. Musical direction by Lud Gluskin, with score composed by Renee and Pierre Garrigang. Join us again next Sunday when author Dashiell Hammett and producer William Spear join forces for another adventure with Sam Spade. Brought to you transcribed by Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. This is Dick Joy reminding you to...
Get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. It keeps your hair in trim. You see, it's non-alcoholic, Charlie. It's made with soothing lanolin. You better get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. Start using it today. You'll find that you will have a tough time, Charlie. Keeping all the gals away. Hiya, Baldy. Get Wild Root right away.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective. Brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic, the non-alcoholic hair tonic that contains lanolin. Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too.
Sam Spade Detective Agency?
Me, sweetheart.
Oh, Sam, I'm so glad you called.
Why?
I don't know. I always am. Was it a good case, Sam?
I didn't like it.
Where are you?
Morgue, San Mateo.
Oh, was somebody killed?
Yes?
Well, do you know who did it?
Yep.
That's good.
No, that's bad.
Bad?
Believe it or not, F, I wish I didn't know who killed who.
I don't understand. Oh, Sam, you sound so downhearted.
Well, I'm sorry. I'll try to loosen up. Stay where you are, sweetheart. I'll be right down to dictate my report on the champion caper.
Dashiell Hammett, America's leading detective fiction writer and creator of Sam Spade, the hard-boiled private eye, and William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, join their talents to make your hair stand on end with the adventures of Sam Spade. Presented by the makers of Wild Root Cream Oil for the hair. Before bringing you tonight's mystery, I'm going to take 28 seconds to tell you something that isn't a mystery. It's no mystery why so many millions of men, women, and children have well-groomed hair these days when America's favorite hair tonic, Wild Root Cream Oil, costs so little. Just 25 cents will buy you a get-acquainted bottle and show you how neatly and naturally Wild Root Cream Oil grooms your hair, how it relieves annoying dryness and removes loose, ugly dandruff. Get Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. And now, with Howard Duff starring as Spade, Wild Root brings to the air the greatest private detective of them all in the adventures of Sam Spade.
Oh, Sam, I read the afternoon paper. I don't understand it either.
Stop that.
Really, after all this time, you'd think I'd be acclimatized to all kinds of human storms. I've got my pencil already. I'm myself again. I'm ready, Sam. Sam, date? Date, August 7th, 1949. To whom? Sam?
Jack Manelli.
To Detective Lieutenant Manelli. Homicide detail, San Mateo Police. From Samuel Spade, license number 1375996. Subject? Are you listening, Sam?
Subject, the champion caper. Dear Manelli. You were there for the end of it, and I was there for the start of it, which is in the reception office of Elliot Champion's brokerage house in San Mateo, and where I first met Mildred Champion. Remember that old salve, how a woman in love is always beautiful? When I went in, I had no idea she was in love and no idea she was beautiful. Not because she had lately been crying, but her sallow face without makeup, framed in a wisp of blonde hair, wasn't flattered by the shapeless black dress, cotton stockings, and low-heeled shoes she was wearing. Certainly not the going idea of beauty. Nor did her conversation reveal anything to indicate love.
Oh, yes. May I help you?
Mr. Elliot Champion, my name's Spade.
Spade. S-P-A-D-E?
You don't have to write it. He's expecting me.
Your business, Mr. Spade?
Private.
I have to have a little more than that, I'm afraid.
Always this hot here?
Mr. Champion can't stand fresh air.
Obvious.
That's what makes it so warm in here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is hot. Just flip the switch and tell him I'm here.
Well, what is it, Mildred?
I was just going out. Mr. Spade is here. Says you're expecting him. But I don't find him listed in your appointment book.
Don't be an idiot. Send him in. Send him in.
You may go in now, Mr. Spade.
He always like that?
He's nice today.
Sorry, Mildred. That's your name, isn't it?
His office is first on the right.
Don't bother. I'll find it.
Thank you. I'll just go to lunch.
Mr. Champion?
Well, don't just stand there. Come in and shut the door. What I have to discuss with you is private. I don't want that snoopy niece of mine listening to our conversation.
She's out to lunch now. But does she listen in often?
All the time. Why?
She didn't know who I was.
I outsmarted her there. I called you from the drugstore on the corner. I don't want anyone to know who you are, why you're here. Oh, now, where did I put that lighter?
Behind the inkwell.
Oh, yeah. I'm a dangerous man to play games with. Joseph's found that out once, and if he keeps this business up, he's going to find it out again.
No games? You're dangerous.
Say, are you mocking me, Spade?
Just wondering what you're talking about.
I just told you got ears, haven't you? Joe Josephs is back in town, and I'm not going to fool around with him.
Mildred told me you were nice today.
Oh, she did she? Well, Mildred talks too much. That's what's the matter with her. She talks too much.
And you'd fire her, only she's your niece, and you'd have to pay somebody else 3 times what you pay her to take everything she has to take.
Get out of my office. Oh, no. Wait a minute, Spade. It's just hot, I guess.
Who has turned on the heat?
It's Joe Josephs. He was released from San Quentin this week. And I've been receiving telephone calls from him telling me to beware and to watch out and a lot of other nonsense.
What was he doing at San Quentin?
2 to 5 on an embezzling count. He's an ungrateful scoundrel, that's what he is. When I took him into my office as a junior executive, and 6 months later...
He got tired of the $20 a week you were probably paying him and decided to dip into the bin. Only he did a bad job, got caught, you testified against him, now he's out and he's sore and he's threatening you.
And every time you yell cop around this town, there's always some snoopy reporter hanging around the sergeant's desk.
Ain't that the truth?
Listen, Spade, I've got $500,000 tied up in this business, and I don't want anybody thinking I might get knocked over by some loony with a grudge.
And that's why you didn't tell the police?
Don't you believe me?
It'll do for now. You'll think of something better.
Now, see here, impertinence is one thing...
25 a day and... No. That'll be 45 a day in expenses.
I want you to find Joe Josephs and bring him to me.
Nuisance warrant?
More than that. I've got enough stuff in that desk drawer to send him back to Quentin if I have to.
Oh, what kind of stuff?
Left over from his trial. It'll be grand larceny this time, and they don't stop at 5 years for that kind of thing.
You withheld evidence?
I withheld...
Get out! My back was only 8 feet from the window, and it came through from the other building across the court. The silencer either ruined the marksman's aim, or he was just a bad shot, because out of 6 tries, he didn't connect with a thing but the desk lamp and a wastebasket. By that time, Champion and I were both on the floor, Champion on top of me. I kicked out to get loose, and he kicked me back. I gave that up and twisted around for my gun. Across the court, a window was open about 6 inches, one corner of which was full of a dark-sleeved hand and a gun arm. I fired at it from what is known as number 6 position.
It's him! It's him! Get him, Spade! Get him, Spade! What do you think I hired you for?
I didn't bother to answer him. I went through the window, onto the fire escape, and over to the next building. I did more. I went in that building, which was apparently vacant, down the stairs, and started out the back entrance.
Hey,
Oh, sorry.
Shirley, watch it, will you? What's the big hurry?
Hey, he came out of this building. Which way did he go?
Who came out of what building?
This building, right here, just a second ago.
Here?
Yes.
Who?
Him.
Who?
The guy who just ran down
What do
these
you look
stairs.
like?
Well, he...
Well, what do you look like? I tell you, what do you look like?
Huh?
Who?
What?
Where?
Thanks.
Don't mention it, Curly, anytime.
I couldn't tell her what he looked like because I hadn't seen him. After a careful search of the building, which revealed nothing, I decided my suspect had eluded me for good, and I returned to the office of Elliot Champion. He was sitting on his green leather chair, wearing an expression to match.
Missed him, huh, Spade?
What does Joseph's look like?
Oh, I've got a couple of snapshots here somewhere. Oh, yes, here.
Let's have a look. I was later to regret having those snapshots in my person. They showed a tall, thin-faced, haunted-looking guy, an old-looking 28, good face, shock of black hair, and dark eyes. I've seen plenty of cons, embezzler type, and he wouldn't have been cast in the part in my movie. There was nothing about him to indicate that he'd embezzled $2,000 or use a silencer on a gun. I dug 238 slugs out of Champion's wall and went down to the street.
Spade! Oh, Spade!
He was a heavy-set man in a dirty white Panama hat and seersucker suit that didn't fit him around the middle.
Just a minute, Spade, just a minute.
He crawled out of a black sedan, jammed a cigar in his mouth, and began sweating. He needed a shave. He'd always need a shave.
Hot afternoon, ain't it? Yes, sir, sure is hot. Sure is a hot afternoon. Here, my card.
Lemuel Drigger, Confidential Investigations.
Guess I should ought to have some new ones printed up, huh?
I guess you should order, Lem, and change the name while you're at it.
Huh?
Didn't the commissioner bounce you 9 years ago for rolling a pack before you did the booking?
Oh, let bygones be bygones, Spade. I'm in business for myself now.
How's business, Lem?
Punk.
Try another racket, Lem.
Spade, you been in to see old man Champion, maybe?
Maybe.
I was just going to go in to see him myself when I spot you pull up. I recognized you from the pictures in the paper last week. I figure maybe you and me ought to talk.
What did you figure you and me maybe ought to talk about, Lem?
Oh, you make it tough for a guy, Spade. We're in the same business, you know. What'd you go see him about?
So long, Lem.
Wait a minute. I'm an old gumboot, huh? A fat old gumboot who couldn't get a trick as a housekeeper or tailing a punk. Is that it? Okay, Spade, okay. You're full of vinegar now, but just you keep my card. You'll want to see Lem Drigger before it's all tied up. You'll want to see me.
Screw, Lem. But he was right. I did want to see him because when I got down to the Chronicle office and looked up a morgue on the Joe Joseph's trial, the first thing that jumped out at me was the name Lemuel Drigger. Lemuel Drigger, private detective who had been employed when Mr. Champion had become suspicious of Joseph's account irregularities, and who, together with Mr. Champion, caught Joseph's red-handed, and who willingly offered his testimony the same at the trial which convicted Joe Josephs to San Quentin for 5 years. The file also gave the name of Joseph's lawyer, a man named Anthony Speezer. The phone book showed an apartment address on Geary.
That you, Aggie? Hold on a minute. I was just trying to get dinner over before you showed up, but I guess I'm late tonight. Who are you?
Mr. Speezer?
That's right.
My name's Spade. I'm a private investigator. I'm trying to locate a former client of yours, a man named Joseph.
Come in. I was expecting Aggie, but come in.
Thanks.
I always fix my own dinner, poached egg and half and half. Ulcers. Name Spade?
Yeah.
Want an egg?
No, thanks. I'm on duty.
Mind if I finish?
It's up to you.
Who's your client, Spade?
Elliot Champion. Joe Josephs is back in town, and he's been making telephone threats and throwing 38s around.
38, huh?
Mm-hmm. You know where he is?
Joe was a nice kid, but a calendar job. Born with one war going on, a depression on deck, and another war in the hold. Makes a difference. The calendar got him. Everything was against him at the trial, too. I couldn't do anything. He thought I let him down and told me so. He got real sore when they read the book at him. Threatened Champion and that private dick,
Lem Drigger.
Drigger and everybody else. Said he was railroaded.
You were his attorney?
I know, but he didn't have a chance in a million of beating that rap. He thought I ratted when I took the guilty plea in court's mercy, all for a lousy $2,000. Well, he's done his time and he's out now.
He hasn't gotten in touch with you?
Nope.
No threats?
Nope.
Ever write to you from prison?
Nope.
Any idea where he'd be in town?
Nope.
Is it possible he has a mother?
Nope.
Then I guess I leave you to Aggie.
We play records. Aggie used to be a violinist.
Well, it's up to her.
Spade.
Yeah?
If you find Joe, tell him where I live. I'd like to see him.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe I just want to see what 5 years in the pen does to a kid like that.
Yeah. I'll bet you do. Yeah?
Is this you, Mr. Spade?
Who's this?
This is Mildred Champion. Remember me in my uncle's office?
I remember.
Mr. Spade, you're looking for Joe, aren't you? Well, I know you are. You don't have to answer me. I think I can help you find him. I must talk to you right away before something terrible happens. Please come out to the house before something terrible happens. It's right in the corner.
I got out to the house as fast as I could, but not before something terrible had happened.
Spade.
The front door was open and all the lights were on, and Elliot Champion was lying at the foot of the stairs in the front hall holding his lapel as if it would get away from him.
Spade, don't touch me. Don't try to move me. It's in my lungs somewhere, and I never thought.
It didn't look like there'd be much use, but I beat it up the stairs to the hall phone to call emergency ambulance.
Hello? Hello?
What the?
This is Joe. So you hired a private eye to look me up, huh? Well, you'll never find me, but I'll find you. Yeah, Mr. Champion, I'll be seeing you real soon.
I didn't get it then, but I got it a second later. I grabbed for the banister, missed, and hit the top railing. A pair of hands held me up long enough to go through my pockets and then let me go, and that's the last thing I remember.
The makers of Wild Root Cream Oil are presenting the weekly Sunday adventure of Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, Sam Spade. Now, here's important news on good grooming. If you want the well-groomed look that helps you get ahead, socially and on the job, listen. Recently, thousands of people from coast to coast who bought Wild Root Cream Oil for the first time were asked, how does Wild Root Cream Oil compare with the hair tonic you previously used? The results were amazing. Better than 4 out of 5 who replied said they preferred Wild Root Cream Oil. Remember, non-alcoholic Wild Root Cream Oil contains lanolin. It grooms the hair naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose, ugly dandruff. So if you want your hair to be more attractive than ever before, get the generous new 25-cent size of Wild Root Cream Oil, America's leading hair tonic, on sale at all drug and toilet goods counters. It's also available in larger economy bottles and the handy new tube. By the way, smart girls use Wild Root Cream Oil, too, and mothers say it's grand for training children's hair. Get Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. And now, back to the Champion Caper, tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
The neighbors had complained of gunshots, which was fortunate for me. I still might have been lying at the bottom of those stairs in Champion's house, Lieutenant, if you hadn't walked in, applied first aid, asked me my name, and listened to my story. You considered the threatening phone call after my client's death as a cover-up and promptly sent out a general alarm on Joe Josephs. I took an aspirin and a taxicab for home. Halfway uptown, I discovered the pictures of Joe Josephs were missing from my wallet. And that is why I was absent at the medical examiner's inquest this morning. Instead of going home, I went out to San Mateo, jimmied the lock of Champion's office, and violated City Ordinance number 352B. My dead client's desk revealed one important item. An income tax voucher dated August 17, 1944, noting him delinquent. Then I found another important item, same for 1943. His secretary's desk was even more interesting. What I found there led me to, 1, call her home. Result, no answer. And 2, to revisit Attorney Speezer. I found him poaching another egg.
All right, I'm here. It's late, Aggie. What's the idea? Unless it's Beethoven, I don't... Oh, Spade.
Aggie have a show?
Yeah, left early. Has to work tomorrow.
Oh, it's too bad.
What's with you? Still looking for Joe?
Yep.
Any leads? Wish I could help you, Spade.
Elliot Champion was shot and killed in his home tonight.
No.
Is that all you have to say?
Joe do it?
Maybe.
Well...
You don't seem scared for a mouthpiece Joe didn't like.
If you mean should I be next? No. I'm not scared, Spade. The kid should realize by this time I liked him and did all I could.
You've been here all evening?
Aggie.
Could you prove it?
Yeah.
You may have to. Did you know Mildred Champion was married to Joe Josephs?
Yeah. How'd you know? It's a secret.
I found this marriage license in her desk drawer.
Nosy, huh?
I found something else. Champion didn't pay his income taxes all the time.
A lot of people are like that, Spade. Me,
Lem Drigger testified against Joe at the trial, so did Champion. Mildred worked in the office, but she didn't testify.
Wife can't testify against husband. Real good story, Spade. But what about Joe?
Champion had something on Lem Drigger, and Drigger had something on Champion. Joe's in between. You tell me, huh?
Huh?
All right, I'll tell you. It's all about a green kid hired into a brokerage firm to be framed on a phony embezzling charge to cover up a tax delinquency. You want to finish it?
I can't. I don't know it.
You've got ideas, though.
Yeah, Spade, you're right. I've got ideas. And all of them make me sick inside. That kid stood there and told me he was innocent. He said it 1,000,000 times if he said it once. And he told me he thought Champion was short with the income tax people.
And if Champion was short, he could phony up a book and get a worn-out private detective like Drigger to testify that there'd been a fraud, and Joe takes the rap.
If that's what happened, they did it pretty good.
Did you mention anything like this at the trial?
Surmise is not admissible. There was no way to investigate it and no way to prove it. Joe was a nice kid, Spade, and he told a good story. I've been fooled a lot of times. What do you think?
I haven't met him yet.
All right, he's done his 5 years. He came out, and now they want him for killing the man who sent him up. His whole life's gone. And for what? Spade, I hope you don't find him. I hope nobody ever finds him.
But we did find Joe Josephs, Lieutenant. He was right under our noses all the time. When I called you, you told me to come on down to the morgue at the county hospital. We both stood and looked at Joe Josephs.
It's a funny thing, Sam. We had an alarm out for an hour on this guy. We've been looking all over for him, and he turns up right here. Only he's dead. He's been dead since last night about 7.
7? Same time Champion was killed.
TB. Just got the whole story. Had it awful bad in prison on a sick ward his last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted out awful bad. When his time was up last week, he made him release him. But he wound up here, died in the hospital. He looks awful young to be a con and all. I don't know, Sam. He's just a kid, isn't he?
Up until then, you had some kind of case against Joe Josephs. But when the medical examiner reported that my client had been shot with a .32, the rest of it began to fall into place. Lem Drigger's office was a dirty room over a shoe repair shop on Mission Street. The glass in the door hadn't been washed in 5 years, and neither had anything else. You could hardly tell where the office left off and Lem began.
Oh, hello, Spade. I've been waiting for you. I thought you'd get over for some talk.
What made you think that, Lem?
Well, you're here, ain't you?
All right, let's make talk. Did the silencer ruin your gun?
Huh?
Come on. I want it all.
Hey,
You phoned tonight after Champion was killed. You've been phoning him right along saying it was Joe.
No, just a minute, Spade. We're in the same
And
racket.
you shot at him with a silencer on your .38 this afternoon to make it look real good.
You can't prove anything. I didn't kill him.
One slug out of your gun will match that up. Every cop carries a .38. You were a cop once.
No, Spade, you got this all
you
wrong.
him because you thought he'd called you in for protection. He called you in once on another job.
Listen, I know what you're thinking,
And
but
business was so bad you had to drum it up, didn't you? Joseph was released from prison and it was a natural, only it didn't work. Champion called me instead, and you tried to shake me down.
Well, I only thought we could kind of work together. Make it a good thing.
I told you once you should try another racket. But you didn't take my advice. Now you're going to have to.
What do you mean?
Because your license will be revoked pretty quick. You got into a lot of trouble about 2 minutes from now.
I did? I was right here. What are you trying to do?
I swore out a complaint on you for assault and battery.
Hey, wait a minute. I ain't done nothing to you. Champion's dead. And
Yes,
I tell
you did, Lem. You tried to strike me, and I had to defend myself. And I did make out a complaint, Lieutenant. I phoned your office, and 2 of your men were on the way out to pick him up when I heard a footstep outside the door. I knew who was there and what she was there for, and I did the only thing I could think of at the moment. And it was lucky I did it. Her own .32 was in her hand when she came in the door. She looked at me, and Lem's smoking gun in my hand, looked at him stretched out on the floor, then she looked back at me, and the gun fell from her hand, and she began to cry. Hello, Mildred.
I wanted to do it. I came here to do it.
I know.
Why? Why did you?
To stop you.
Why?
My bullets went into the ceiling. He's just knocked out.
No, he ought to be dead. Dead.
No. Not anymore, Mildred.
You tricked me. You knew I was coming here. And you know he should die. You know it.
That won't bring Joe back.
How many real tramps have you met in your life, Mr. Spade?
Lots. And some who just thought they were.
Well, you met the genuine product yesterday. My uncle, for example. He stole money from himself and made it look like Joe did it.
I know about that.
And this one? Why didn't you let me kill him, too? Why?
Easy.
Well, I went over to see him in the hospital the first time, I knew he was dying. He had that look in his eyes, helpless. And he knew what they'd done to him, and he couldn't do anything about it.
But you figured that you could. So you killed your uncle when you found out Joe died, and you came here to kill them.
They killed him. They killed Joe, and they sent him to prison. 5 years I waited for him to get out of that awful place. I waited to hold him in my arms and tell him it was all over. 5 years I waited to help him forget his hate, my hate. 5 years I loved him so much every day.
Oh, easy.
And then he came back to me the way he did. Those pictures were all I had left of him after 5 years of waiting, loving him. Now he's dead. What can you or I or anybody do about what they've done to him? Look at me, Mr. Spade. Go ahead, look at me. I'm not what you'd call beautiful. I'm not even very pretty. Nobody would ever look at me twice. Well, Joe looked at me. And he loved me. Now he's dead. And I'm dead inside. I'm dead inside, and I'll be glad when I'm dead outside.
Period and a report.
Oh, Sam, they were so unhappy.
Yeah. Add a notation that I won't be around for the coroner's inquest.
Sam, you can't do
This
that.
report, when duly notarized, should be admissible as testimony. I want to get out of town for a few days. Sour racket.
And now, listen to this. Later this evening, if you happen to stroll down to the corner for cigarettes or ice cream, why not also pick up some Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic? Your whole family will like the way Wild Root Cream Oil grooms the hair neatly and naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose dandruff. And ask your barber for a professional application of Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too.
Didn't make any mistakes.
Of course you didn't.
Are you really serious about getting out of town for a few days?
I am?
The world's too much with you, huh, Sam?
Effie.
I know it's poetry, Sam, but it seems kind of appropriate right now. I don't care if she did kill those two men. I feel sorry for her.
What's that got to do with poetry?
Well, it's kind of poetic justice.
Oh.
Why did she dress the way she did in a black dress and low heels?
A form of penance, I guess. Mourning, absence of her missing lover. Yeah, no. Look, you'll have to type it all over if you keep that up.
But, Sam, it's all so beautiful and tragic.
Yeah.
And you watched it all happen with such understanding. I'm so proud of you. Oh, Sam.
Come on now, come on. Dry up and go home.
Good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, are produced and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade is played by Howard Duff. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. Tonight's adventure with Sam Spade was written for radio by E. Jack Newman. Music was directed by Lud Gluskin, with score composed by Renee and Pierre Garrigan. Join us again next Sunday when author Dashiell Hammett and producer William Spear join forces for another adventure with Sam Spade. Brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. This is Dick Joy reminding you to
get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. It keeps your hair in trim. You see, it's non-alcoholic, Charlie. It's made with soothing lanolin. You better get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. Start using it today. You'll find that you will have a tough time, Charlie, keeping all the gals away. Hiya, Charlie. Get Wild Root right away.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective. Brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic, the non-alcoholic hair tonic that contains lanolin. Wild Root Cream Oil. Again, and women and children, too.
detective agency.
Me, sweetheart.
Oh, Sam! It must be telepathy. I was just thinking of you. You know, sometimes I think I can tell what you're thinking.
That's an invasion of my privacy.
Oh, when two people are as close as you and I think that often you can almost read one another's minds.
Well, you may be right. I can see what you're doing all the way from here.
What?
Put those paper clips back where you found them.
Oh, certainly, Sam.
Own up, Eb. You purloined pencils, absconded with erasers, pilfered stationery, filched stamps for your personal use.
I only write to Mother when there's nothing else to do around the office.
Besides making unit phone calls and charging them to me, you've tapped the petty cash drawer for lunch money.
Sam!
And you've been filling your pen with company ink.
I didn't think you'd mind, Sam. I'll pay it all back.
But I have a big heart and boundless compassion. Stay where you are, sweetheart. I'll be down on my unlimited generosity with your back salary.
Really, Sam?
And 2 tickets for us to go to the fights tonight. And dinner. And last, but by no means least, my stirring and vivid report on the Prodigal Daughter Caper.
Dashiell Hammett, America's leading detective fiction writer and creator of Sam Spade, the hard-boiled private eye, and William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, join their talents to make your hair stand on end with the adventures of Sam Spade. Presented by the makers of Wild Root Cream Oil for the hair. Here's a smart resolution to make. First day back on the job after your summer vacation. From now on, every single day, I'm going to pay special attention to the way I look. I'm going to use Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Yes, folks, smart's the word for that resolution. For Wild Root Cream Oil grooms your hair neatly and naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose dandruff. It helps give you that successful look that's so important to getting ahead. So, if you've never tried Wild Root Cream Oil, get the 25-cent get-acquainted bottle. Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. And now, with Howard Duff starring as Spade, Wild Root brings to the air the greatest private detective of them all in the adventures of Sam Spade.
Now that I need you.
Effie! Oh, hi, Sam. Hiya, Sam.
Come on. Bring your book. Got a pencil? We gotta hurry if we're gonna make the fight, you know.
Oh, I've got one of the new retractor kind of pencils.
Well, get the lead out.
Are you really going off the post, Sam?
It's Man McShelly versus Cluck-Faced Duffy in the main event. Ready?
McDuffie. Sounds like an MP.
McShelly. What?
Aim and fire, Sam. PBS.
F, you've been out with somebody else. A military man.
Well, how did you ever know?
Date, August 28-1949. I don't know whether we'll go out or not.
You're clairvoyant.
To Dr. Albert Kensington from Samuel Spade.
I only had a coke with him, Sam. He was on Frillo, and we...
And license number 137596. Subject?
And he was from Elkhart, Indiana. And I used to live in Pleasant Lake, and...
Down! Down, Effie. Subject, Helen Scully of the Prodigal Daughter. A coke yet. Dear Doctor, everyone in San Francisco knows the castle-type hill house that Casper Scully lived in, even if they didn't know him. When I got there was an all-black 49 convertible in the driveway, and slightly smaller, same color, a Russian wolfhound wearing a spiked collar and expression to match. He broke his chain when he saw me and ran in the back of the house. That should have told me something, but I plunged the doorbell and was admitted by a butler named Stanley, who left me standing in a draft in the library, looking at a cold television set. I pulled up my coat collar, took a plant in front of the fireplace, and lit a cigarette. Pretty soon, things started. A blonde girl in a yellow suit was having a one-sided argument with a gray-haired man in a gray suit. Nobody paid any attention to me.
All that stuff about how you forbid it and it can't go on. Well, let me tell you, it can go on just as long as I want it to. And there's nothing you can do about it, so don't, whatever you do, try to interfere. Oh, stop it. That hurt look again. I've seen it too often, and I'm sick of it. Do you hear me? I'm sick of it.
He looked mad, but he didn't say anything. I saw them walk around the garden once, shake fists at each other, and finally part. He disappeared up a narrow stairway, and she came storming back through the library.
Who are you?
How do you do?
Who are you?
Sam Spade.
What are you doing here?
Waiting to talk to Mr. Scully.
Well, I just talked to him, and he isn't very nice. Let me tell you that.
Yes,
He's
but
a nasty, stubborn, bull-headed old man, and you won't like him.
Yes, but
nobody likes him. Go back where you came from, whatever your name is. I'm the nicest person you'll meet around this place.
Yes, but...
Don't wait around. Oh, goodbye.
But I did wait around, Dr. Kensington, and I did talk to Mr. Scully when you came in the room with him, only Mr. Scully did not talk to me. He glared at me through black, smoldering eyes, sniffed the air, frowned at my cigarette. I frowned back.
Mr. Spade, I'm Dr. Kensington. I wrote you the letter. This is Mr. Scully. Oh, please, the cigarette. Mr. Scully suffered a severe accident many years ago that affected his throat and his respiratory tract. He smoked.
Oh, of course, I understand, Doctor. Sorry, Mr. Scully,
Yes, thank you, Spade. This is not generally known, but the unfortunate accident in the chemical plant also robbed Mr. Scully of his vocal power.
I see.
Yes, the modern doctor, the physician of today, is a far cry from the general practitioner of yesteryear. Today, we must know the mind, the psychological quirks, well, he must follow through completely on a case. He is sometimes, as I am today, a confidant, an executive officer for his patients. He is a friend, to say the least, eh?
Oh, yes, to say the least.
Eh? Oh, of course, Mr. Scully, to the point, of course. Sit down, Spade.
Oh, thanks.
Now then, Mr. Scully, as you well know, and the world knows, has made several fortunes in his lifetime. And he didn't accomplish this by allowing people to run roughshod over him. But, Mr. Scully, I'm just backgrounding Mr. Spade. Please be patient. Mr. Scully intends leaving his daughter Helen his entire fortune. A great deal of money, to say the least.
Say the least. But Helen doesn't care about the money. She's foolish, young, headstrong, and impetuous.
Huh?
I heard her arguing with Mr. Scully a bit.
Now, Mr. Scully. We'll straighten all this out. Mr. Spade will help us. Well, then, Spade, you have half the problem right there. She is a headstrong, impetuous girl. And lately she's done several things to displease her father. Right, Mr. Scully? You see, Mr. Spade.
Oh, I gathered that much, but what kind of thing?
Helen's been singing in a cheap nightclub called the Blue Goose.
What?
Oh, it's very embarrassing.
Low class, eh?
Yes. There's a man named Torpy. He owns the club.
A man named Chick Torpy?
Ah, you know of him?
I've heard of him.
Contrary to all her father's wishes, Helen insists on seeing this man Torpy.
How old is she?
Well, that's beside the point, Mr. Spade. But a sordid affair now might rob her of a future of wealth and security. Mr. Scully's at the point of exasperation. He might well change his will over this matter. Correct, Mr. Scully? At best, this is an embarrassing situation, and most indiscreet of Helen to have brought it about.
So, I'm supposed to go talk to Chick Torpy, is that it?
In a word, yes. Well, you sound rather reluctant, Mr. Spade.
Chick Torpy's a little too old for the Boy Scouts.
Well, we want you to see him. Find out how much it'll take to stop seeing Helen.
Tell me, what happens if Torpy isn't for sale?
Oh, everyone has a price. Spade, matter of character. You get paid for work like this, that's your price.
Yeah, that reminds me. 50 a day and expenses. 5 days guarantee, to say the least.
Of course, to say the least.
And, Mr. Scully, I happen to have a standard client's contract with me here. If you'll just sign on both pages, I'm sure that...
Never mind, Spade, not now. Mr. Scully will mail it to you later on today. Ah, dear, Mr. Scully's fatigued. Well, you'll contact me as soon as you have any information for us.
I said I would. Mr. Scully sounded a final cough, and I left the two of you in the library. It was interesting, meeting this voiceless tycoon who must have made and broken many a man with a nod of his head or a shrug of his shoulders. The same black dog with the same spiked collar was still outside the house doing the same thing.
Ah, Spade. Mr. Spade?
But something new had been added. A pair of well-tailored shoulders, diamond stick pin, and a gray felt hat with a snap brim.
Hello, Spade. You don't know me.
Now, wait a minute. There's something about a guy in a lineup. You're Dapper Danny Cavillo. When'd you get out of Folsom, Danny?
A while back. They gave me a kind of rain check.
Wouldn't that 38 make you a parole breaker?
Oh, is that showing?
Unless your ribs grow in different directions.
Sam, I'm here to save you a lot of trouble.
What trouble are you here to save me?
You want to see Chick Torpy, don't you? You've got business to talk with him, no?
News gets around fast, Danny.
No. No, it's just that Chick had been expecting somebody like you from the old man, and, well, I'm here to see that you see him. So, why don't you kind of get in the car?
And I kind of did. Danny smiled, lit a cigarette, shifted his shoulder holster so I could shift gears better, and drove me back across town to an apartment house on LaSalle, the Metropolitan. A good-looking guy who stood about 6'4", black hair, answered the knock.
Hello, Chick. May I present Sam Spade? Sam Spade, meet Chick Torpy.
That'll do it, Danny, thanks. Hello, Spade. Come on in.
See you, gentlemen.
Danny's Gabby.
Hello, Chick. Your taxi service always free?
Just when I'm in a hurry to get things settled, soldier. You saw the old man today, huh?
I saw him and talked to his doctor, Kensington.
All right. You're here to tell me how worried the old man is, right?
If you're talking about Helen and you, yes. You're bad company.
Yeah. What else?
He wants you to stop seeing her.
Well, suppose I don't want to stop seeing her. Suppose I told you I love her.
Let's see. She comes under $3 million when he kicks. You love her.
I'd be crazy if I didn't.
I wonder what she'd say if she heard you say that.
Why don't you ask her, Spade?
Helen?
Hello, Mr. Spade. Told you to leave my house today, but you didn't listen.
Vince Spade?
Well, I'm wondering, anyway.
Maybe this will help. When you get back to my father, tell him I think Chick'd be a fool to brush me off. Tell him that someday I expect to inherit all of that wonderful money he spent a lifetime making. Tell him that Chick's tired of working. Got all that?
Yep.
How do you feel, Spade?
Like I'm earning my fee.
Well, you've already earned it, Spade. There's no use trying. I've told her myself, now you can tell him. She's not for sale, and I'm not for sale. Got it?
You got it.
All right, then you're finished here. Hello. Oh, you. Well, I'm not sure I want to talk to him. Give him a pill and...
And it was on that happy note, Doctor, that I went downstairs, found a drugstore, and tried to phone you and tell you what Torpy had said. Your line was busy, and while I was waiting for it to get unbusy, I spotted Chick Torpy out in front. He looked madder than when I'd left him, and there was a bulge in his coat that hadn't been there before. He got into a black sedan near the curb, and I hailed a cab and followed him across town up to Nob Hill. A half a block from the Scully residence, I left my taxi and took the rest on foot. He was still a couple of 100 feet ahead of me as he disappeared into the garden entrance. I heard a cry for help, and then... Chick was standing over something on the ground. When he saw me, he shrieked for a break in the hedge. I stopped long enough to have a look at the body he'd left. My client. He still had gray hair, and he was still wearing the gray suit, but half his face had been shot away.
The makers of Wild Root Cream Oil are presenting the weekly Sunday adventure of Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, Sam Spade. Remember, non-alcoholic Wild Root Cream Oil contains lanolin. It grooms the hair naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose, ugly dandruff. So if you want your hair to be more attractive than ever before, get the generous new 25-cent size of Wild Root Cream Oil, America's leading hair tonic, on sale at all drug and toilet goods counters. It's also available in larger economy bottles and the handy new tube. By the way, smart girls use Wild Root Cream Oil, too, and mothers say it's grand for training children's hair. Get Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. And now, back to the Prodigal Daughter Caper. Tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
My 5-day contract arrived in the morning mail signed by Casper Scully. The headlines were no surprise. Chick Torpy sought in shooting of multimillionaire. Item: ballistics matched up slugs taken from body with weapon owned and licensed to one Chick Torpy. And item: because of a city ordinance regarding disposition, the body of Casper Scully, found off the immediate premises of his home, had been removed to the city morgue and would remain there until claimed by nearest of kin.
Hey, Sammy, my boy. It's good to look on you.
Oh, Maxie.
What brings you, Sam?
Scully stiff.
Oh, yeah. Checked him back in. Autopsy. Were you in with this, Sam? Do you know Scully?
Just met him yesterday.
Well, like I say to you before, you do collect queer ones, eh, Sam? Oh, such a mess. Woo-hoo, such a mess.
Yeah, I know. I found him. They tell me he has to be claimed.
City ordinance, Sam. Nearest of kin.
It would be his daughter, Helen. She called or anything?
No, not yet. But to get back to him, a real queer one. Maybe the tops this season.
How so?
Barbarianism, Sam. That's what it is. The world is moving backwards. You can get deader than dead.
Huh?
You think the slugs in his chest would be enough, but no. 4 also in the head, too. Kill him twice.
Say it again, Maxie. You mean that...
Twice, Sammy. In the chest, maybe 20 to 30 hours ago. In the head, maybe 12 hours later. You see what I mean?
I saw what he meant. I didn't like what I saw, but things did begin to make some sense. From the morgue, I phoned the Chronicle office, confirmed that Scully did suffer from a throat ailment, was publicity shy, was never interviewed or photographed for that reason. I asked them if they had a specimen of his handwriting by any chance, and they did. I had it sent to me by special messenger, and the signature, compared to the one of my 5-day contract with Mr. Scully, made interesting reading. But what was even more interesting was the DOA Maxie was ushering in.
As I was saying, Sam, it's awful the way these homicides are turning up nowadays. In gray suits, it's fashionable now.
Hey.
What's the matter, Sam? You know him?
Yeah, I know him. What's it say?
The tow tag says unidentified, accidental drowning. Found off Pier 14, time 8:15 this a.m.
Accidental drowning.
You don't think so? Why do you think he's dead?
I think he's dead because he didn't cough when the doctor asked him to. I left Maxie to his newest customer and looked up the police officer who had found the unidentified man. All they had on him was New York clothing labels and a silver identification bracelet with name Julio engraved on it between two small indentations of the comedy tragedy drama masks. It wasn't much, but it took me to a theater on Post Street featuring a special company of Spanish actors on tour.
I am the manager of the company. What is it, please?
I'm sorry to trouble you. I'm trying to locate a certain man. I have good reason to believe he's with your company.
We are a small group. His name, please?
One name might be Julio.
Oh, Julio de Vaca. He's...
Gray-haired, medium build?
You are from the police?
No.
If you are looking for Julio de Vaca, why are you not from the police? 2 days ago, Julio, who does not speak any English, is asked of all things to appear on the television program.
Mm-hmm.
Here is his line. I am proud. But yesterday morning, a man on the telephone, they speak, and Julio goes out with no word. I, too, am looking for him. He missed his performance the afternoon.
I see.
He drinks too much sometimes, I know, and he missed the evening. Where he is, this I do not know. But if you find him...
I have found him.
You have found?
Does he have a wife?
I am the Senora de Vaca. What is it, senor? What has happened to my husband?
You better get your coat, Mrs. Sedebaca. I went back to the morgue with Mrs. Sedebaca, doctor, and after that I went over to the Blue Goose Club.
How are you, Spade?
Tired, Danny boy, tired.
Well, come on in and relax.
Nice place. You run it for Chick?
When he's away.
Seen Chick lately?
2 sets of cops, 3 reporters have been here asking the same question already this morning. What are you trying to prove?
Chick's in trouble. You're his partner.
Uh-huh. Now, he got himself into this one, Spade. Look, we make a nice dollar running this place. It's legitimate. And no cop's going to raid us or close us up. Chick started fooling around with that Scully woman. And I told him just once. It's dynamite, I said. You know how the old man is. Let bygones be bygones. But Chick didn't listen.
Tell me about the bygones that should be bygones and why Chick should know how the old man is.
Well, Scully sent him up 5 years ago. Didn't you know?
No, I didn't.
Oh, Chick owned some property south of Brazito, and Scully wanted it for oil drilling or something. Chick asked too much, and Scully figured a way to get it from him in court. Had it condemned or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Chick got kind of sore. He met the old man on the street one day, and, well, they convicted Chick of attempted murder. 2.5 years.
And Chick looked up Scully's daughter when he got out of prison and started making love to her to get even.
Why, yes, Spade, that's just the way it started. Only Chick was the sucker after all. He really went for the creature. He married her 3 weeks ago in Reno, the poor sap.
Anybody else know about that part of it?
Only me. I was best man.
By the way, Danny, did you rap Julio Sedebaca over the head last night and toss him in the bay?
Who's Julio, whatever his name is?
An actor who happened to look something like old man Scully. Enough like him to keep his mouth closed when I was there, but who might want to open it later.
I don't know what you're talking about, Spade.
Didn't think you would.
But I don't like it.
Yeah, boy.
Timmy? Joe?
Yeah.
Throw this bum out. I'm sick of looking at him.
Get out. And they did. It was 2 against 1, and I'd been up late the night before. I was doing very well, though, until somebody stooped to a form of subterfuge I have long since grown to hate. I was borne on 2 swarthy shoulders out of the club and into the open air. I was on a balcony, and a good stiff sea breeze was blowing. I didn't enjoy it long.
1, 2, 3, here!
The water was cold but refreshing, and I managed to swim the 5 feet to shore. And that was my limit. I hung onto a slippery piling which supported the Blue Goose above me and partially hid the antechamber in front of me. It had been a wine cellar once and a loading dock, I suspected, during Prohibition. This time it was a hideout.
Keep your hands up, Spade. Close the door.
Chick, please.
Keep out of this, Helen.
You're crazy, Torpy. You got this all wrong.
Mr. Spade's right.
There's probably a $5,000 reward out for me right now. They want me dead or alive, and you're here to tell me how wrong I am. Well, it'll be dead, Spade. They'll never take me, and you aren't going to.
Listen to reason.
I've listened to all the reason I'm going to listen to. From now on, I'm doing things my way. I got nothing to lose now. I'm getting out of here. So long, baby. It's been great.
He leaned over to kiss her goodbye, and that is when I rediscovered that my wet revolver, even though it wouldn't fire, still had plenty of power left.
Mrs. Spade, thank you. Thanks for doing that.
As you know, Doctor, I turned Chick Torpy over to the police along with Danny Cavillo and took Helen Scully home. She ran upstairs with many tears, and I met you in the library. You seemed relieved when you heard that Torpy had been apprehended. However, I had some other questions to ask. You answered.
All right, Spade, all right. I suppose it'll all come out anyway. 2 nights ago, Chick Torpy came to the house to have it out with Mr. Scully. He told him about their marriage. There was an argument. I was the only one in the house. I heard shots, ran in the room, and found Mr. Scully dead. The marriage certificate was in his hand. I knew this would involve Helen, and so I did what I did. Oh, it was a nightmare. I hid the body, hoping to find a way, perhaps a death certificate on accidental shooting or something.
In other words, you were helping Torpy get away with murder.
Yes, but I was thinking only of Helen. Her father did love her.
But you'd already sent a letter to me. You knew I'd be here the next morning. You'd seen an actor on a television program. He resembled Scully. You hired him for a job. You told Helen that Chick had killed her father and told her what kind of acting she had to do.
Oh, it was crude, perhaps, but I didn't want you to become suspicious when a death report did show up. I intended to hire you and fire you.
Only it didn't work out. I followed Torpy here and found the body.
Oh, I've been such a fool, Spade. Helping a man get away with murder, I want to confess it all. I suppose this will make me an accessory to a murder.
Not exactly.
You mean there's a way out?
There's a way out, and you were going to take it.
What?
I was over to your apartment before I came here. You're all moved out. The doorman tells me your luggage has been at the station all morning. What'd you do? Came here to rifle the safe?
No, see, here, Spade.
Stop it. You were waiting around to see if they took Torpy dead or alive. Dead, he couldn't talk, and you'd be okay. Alive, you're ready to blow town. You bumped Scully.
No.
Get back there. Then you did your best to hang it on a chick. Helen thought he really did it and played along with you. You're not an accessory to murder. You're a murderer on a double count. That actor was knocked on the head before he drowned.
Oh, just a minute, Spade. This can be fixed if you...
Shut up! Period. End of report.
Sam, I don't understand.
What, Angel?
I don't understand, Sam.
What?
Well, you say you turned Chick Torpy over to the police, yet Dr. Kensington was the murderer.
A formality, F. He will be released and cleared in short order. Anything else?
Well, yes. What about Danny Cavillo?
An innocent bystander.
But he had you beat up and knocked on the head.
And he has already made amends with those tickets for the fights. No more questions, F. Type this up and I'll give you the happy ending.
And now, listen to this. School days will soon be here, mothers. To make sure Junior's hair is always neat and well-groomed, get after those cowlicks and stray strands with Wild Root Cream Oil, the famous hair tonic that grooms the hair neatly and naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose, ugly dandruff. And remind Dad to ask his barber for a professional application of Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too.
What is it?
Look, Sam, look.
What is it?
Look, Sam, look.
All right, I shall rephrase the question. What? Oh, I see. You mean the magazine Look, huh?
They said an advance copy. It's not even out till next Tuesday.
What's it doing here?
Oh, look at them. CDs.
Who? Who are these people here?
That's Sam Spade.
What?
On the radio. You know, Howard Duff. He plays you on the radio.
Howard Duff. Why don't I play it on the radio?
You're not the type, I guess.
Yeah, look here. Sam Spade dictating to Effie. Hey, she's not bad, not bad.
Oh, really? That actressy I saw.
What is it?
Levine Tuttle.
The name is so actressy.
As Bill Spear, Spade producer, gives final instructions. Look at him. He has 9 o'clock shadow. Well, come on, let's get out of here. Go to the fights.
Oh, Sam. Then I can't say it.
Say what?
Well, if you're taking me to the fights, I can't very well leave and say good night, Sam, can I?
Well, you can try. It's expected, you know.
All right. Good night, Sam.
Grins. Good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, are produced and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade is played by Howard Duff. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. Tonight's adventure with Sam Spade was written for radio by E. Jack Newman. Musical direction by Lud Gluskin, with score composed by Pierre and Renee Garrigang. Join us again next Sunday when author Dashiell Hammett and producer William Spear join forces for another adventure with Sam Spade. Brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. This is Dick Joy reminding you to...
Get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. It keeps your hair in trim. You see, it's non-alcoholic, Charlie. It's made with soothing lanolin. You better get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. Start using it today. You'll find that you will have a tough time, Charlie. Keeping all the gals away. Hiya, Charlie. Get Wild Root right away.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective. Brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic, the non-alcoholic hair tonic that contains lanolin. Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too.
Detective Agency.
Me, sweetheart. Shaman Spade.
Shaman, not Sam?
An old Indian word signifying wise man. And it's true, Effie. I'm a lot wiser man than I was yesterday at this time.
Oh, really, Sam?
Really, little papoose. Put on some war paint, a few turkey feathers, and your best open-toed moccasins.
Oh, where are we going, Sam?
Why, to Ted's teepee for a rousing repast of ground corn and dried buffalo meat.
Oh, well.
Don't quibble, Effie. Get the wigwam ready, sharpen my tomahawk, and lay out my herringbone breechclout. I'll be right in to dictate the Shargaga, the Shanagma, the Indian Caper. From the land of the sky blue water, they brought a captive maid, Red Wing.
Here I am running, Skunk.
Honey, what?
Skunk. He was a famous Indian detective.
You sure you're not making this up?
Oh, no, Sam. Oh, no. He was the scourge of Indian lawbreakers.
Scourge, huh? Even so, you have 2 minutes to think of a better name.
Oh. Rippling String?
Not virile enough.
Crunching Muscles?
Too virile. What is that stuff you've been getting me, anyway? To Lieutenant L.J. Myron, San Francisco Homicide Detail. I better take it back. Copy to Chief Black Cloud at Santee, Dakota Indian Reservation. Oh, murder. Attention, federal Indian agent from Samuel Spade, San Francisco, license number 137596. Subject, the Shargagagag, the Shargona, call it for now, the Indian Caper, and quiet to you. I was sitting in my office, quiet. I was sitting in my office, doing absolutely nothing when something interrupted me. First, it was a buckskin smell, then the soft tread of moccasins, followed by the sound of a rattle. His beaded clothes were wrapped in a rich-looking embroidered blanket, and his multicolored headdress reached to the floor. His face looked like the model for the Indian head nickel.
How?
Who?
My name, Chief Black Cloud.
How do you do, Chief?
You, Shaman Spade.
Sam.
Shaman, Indian word for wise man, prophet, seer.
Sam.
Newspapers say you good scout,
Well, they exaggerate so, you know.
Chief need to hire good scout for job.
Well, shall we talk?
You come for powwow in Chief's council lodge.
Where's that?
St. Mark Hotel, 4th floor.
I see. You have reservation. Well.
You ride with Black Cloud. He have iron pony on street made by great Indian chief, Pontiac.
And he actually had a council lodge at the St. Mark, 4th floor. Outside the door of his room, 2 braves were standing, arms folded. One of them was the first Indian I'd ever seen with hair on his chest. We entered the room. Indian file, of course. The chief had apparently brought in his own decorator. The walls were covered with hanging animal skins. A weathered canopy of thatch hid the ceiling, and on the floor, genuine hand-woven rugs. No expense had been spared. In one corner of this room stood a full-size teepee. 2 squaws shuffled out of it. What else? The young one glided forward and handed the chief a long Indian pipe.
Shaman Spade, this fairest Indian maid of all. Only person in world important to Black Cloud. Name, Little White Lilac.
How do you do, Little White Lilac?
It's nice to have you here.
She wise, educated girl. Graduate Smith College. Nice. All squaws out.
All squaws out.
Squaws no good at powwow.
Well, you know best, Chief.
Now we powwow. You get paid well. Chief Black Cloud owned 130 oil wells near Tulsa.
Oh, Oklahoma, huh?
Not Oklahoma. Indian land. Union mean nothing. Union temporary thing.
I see.
Indian here long before white man.
This is true.
And Indian will be here long after white man.
All right, Chief, all right.
Chief Black Cloud come to San Francisco Village 5 days ago for a powwow with big engineer.
Anybody I know?
His name, Clarence Hobart. Engineer for Arundel and Amaskig Consolidated Engineering Company.
Uh-huh.
Fine Indian name. We have powwow 4 days. Hobart disappear.
And you want me to find him, is that it?
Chief tired of San Francisco. Want finish powwow. Get back to Santee, Dakota Reservation.
Clarence Hobart. Okay, I'll see what I can find out.
Good. One moment, Shaman Spade.
Sam.
Chief have something you guard for a few days.
What's this?
This beaded wampum belt. Ancient relic of Nipmuc tribe.
Nipmuc.
Here in Tipi Semak, too many light-fingered chambermaids and bellboys.
You want me to hold on to this for you?
Yes. Wampum of great sentimental value. Woven by ancient wise man Tani Luka. Tells interesting story in history of tribe. Guard it well.
Haven't lost a wampum yet. Is that all, then?
One more thing. We smoke pipe of friendship.
All right.
I smoke. Here. Now, you smoke.
To friendship. Now I know what happens if the bag of Lucky Strike doesn't buy. When I left Chief Black Cloud's 4th floor lodge, there was only one brave standing outside the door. The hairy-chested Indian was probably taking 5. The wampum belt was about 3 feet long, made up of hundreds upon hundreds of little colored beads. They were woven into a picture pattern, very pretty. The interesting story undoubtedly could have been translated instantly and told fascinatingly by Red Ryder. But then he has a smart horse. I put the wampum belt in my pocket and headed for the offices of the Arundel and Amaskig Consolidated Engineering Company. Fine old Indian names. I inquired about Clarence Hobart. They referred me to his partner, Anderson Watts.
Hobart disappeared? Absurd. Why, you couldn't lose him if you wanted to. He's as wide as a barn door.
Yeah, well, Chief Black Cloud seems to think he is missing.
Well, now, look here. Are you going to take an Indian's opinion over mine?
I might.
Well, just because he doesn't show up for an appointment doesn't mean he's disappeared. Why, one day when we were on a cantilever project in New Orleans...
Yeah, some other time. If Hobart hasn't disappeared, where would he be?
Anywhere in the world. The man's unpredictable. Brilliant engineer, but moody.
Oh.
Every now and then he goes off alone to scheme up some fantastic thing like maybe cutting off the Gulf Stream and turning Cuba into an iceberg.
I like it.
But he always comes back. Disappear? No, not Hobart.
Yeah, well, can you give me his home address?
Well, here you are. Try it if you like. But I'm sure he's not there. I called this morning and nobody answered. Honest Injun.
I left this utterly charming man and started for the address he had written down. I was taking the shortcut through the alley on Sutton Street when I heard the rattle of beads, and a naked brown arm of considerable size reached out of the murk. I grabbed for it, but he slipped out of my grasp and sped swiftly and silently up the dark alley into the fog, leaving me with a handful of Max Factor number 8 Iroquois makeup. I continued to Hobart's house without further incident. Found it just off Chinatown. Mr. Hobart?
Oh, I thought you might be somebody else.
Who else?
Take a foot out of the door.
Just let's talk a minute, shall we?
Want me to call the police?
I don't think you will, Mr. Hobart.
All right, out with it. What's on your mind?
My name is Sam Spade. I'm a private detective. There's an Indian named Chief Black Cloud who's worried about you.
I'm old enough to worry about myself. Now, stop bothering me. Go away.
Look, I'm going to tell the chief where you are, because that's what I was hired to do.
You? Yeah, you're right. Confidentially, I've been on a 2-day drunk. You know how it is.
Who, me?
Tell him to phone me tomorrow. I'll talk to him.
Hello, what are you doing here today? This is your day off.
I just wanted to show you something.
Happy, first do me a favor and put this wampum belt in the safe, will you?
A wampum belt?
Genuine Indian art.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Tell us a story.
You know what?
Yeah.
It'll go beautifully with... Oh, Sam, I forgot. There's a girl waiting in your office.
Well, good.
Sam, don't you want me to show you?
And there was indeed a girl in my office. It was Little White Lilac, Chief Black Cloud's fairest Indian maid of all. Only a heap big change had taken place. She still had the Indian color, but gone was the headband, gone the buckskin dress, gone the squatting squaw, the St. Mark teepee. Little White Lilac stood revealed in the thin disguise of a modern white woman's cocktail dress, complete with pale-faced 20-carat perfume. It was a transformation worthy of a high-priced medicine man. But more surprises were to come.
Hello.
How?
I've been waiting for you.
Yeah, well, Big Brave just returned from hunting party.
You can drop the teepee talk. I'm civilized.
Well, okay. What's on your civilized line?
Chief Black Cloud gave you a wampum belt. I want you to give it to me so I can destroy it.
Well, I gave my word to keep it, and I accepted the promise of money for its protection. Now, you wouldn't want me to be an Indian violate my ethics, would you?
Sam, if I must tell you, Chief Black Cloud is insane.
Not if he keeps you around.
Must we have these juvenile references to my personal beauty?
Juvenile? Well, sorry. You are Indian, aren't you?
Of course. I am a Nipmuc.
Nipmuc.
That wampum belt is secret to undreamed of wealth, greater than the fortunes of the 10 richest families of this country.
Wow.
Chief Black Cloud is wealthy from oil, but that belt make him more powerful than the Bank of America.
You mean he could take my car back?
You think this is a joke, don't you?
Well, I love the way you tell it, though.
He's going to use it to destroy modern American civilization.
Oh?
To pay the white man back for what he did to the Indian.
I see.
He wants to start a giant Indian revolution.
And you want to destroy the wampum to save all this,
Exactly. And now you'll give it to me, won't you?
Uh-uh. What happens in the next chapter?
Sam, you have to believe me.
Why?
Why do you think the chief is here conferring with an engineer? He wants to get at that wealth.
Hobart's going to make him wealthy? Now, really, Little White Lilac, isn't this all a little white lie?
Sam, if I take you to Hobart and he confirms what I've said, will you believe me?
I might.
Come on.
She took me by the hand, and she led me out of the office and up and down several streets until we arrived at a frowsy-looking brownstone. We entered, still holding hands, and came to rest in an apartment that looked just recently occupied. I guess that's what it looked like, because you couldn't tell much. It was being lit by either 110-watt frosted bulb or by fireflies.
This is the place.
Yeah, a little dim in here, wouldn't you say?
I like dim places.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where's Clarence?
I'll get him in a minute. First, Sam.
Yes, Lilac.
You've been so nice.
I have?
I want to find some way to thank you.
I'll wait while you look.
I can start by kissing you. Please, Sam.
Oh! The kiss was great. In fact, it blew the top of my head off. After this, there was a free fireworks display, followed closely by a giant roar that sounded like Niagara Falls with a cold. It was a short feature, followed by a long period of dark, black silence. When the curtain came up again, I was lying in an alleyway. I was stiff and cold, my head throbbed with pain, my brain was a jumble, my suit was torn and dirty, my patience was at an end, and my anger with Little White Lilac knew no bounds. I went down to the office to change clothes and get a drink. The phone was already ringing when I opened the door. Sam Spade.
This Chief Black Cloud talking from St. Mark Tipi.
Yeah. What's on your mind, Chief?
10 minutes ago, bellboy delivered to Chief Black Cloud box. Inside box is scalp of Engineer Clarence Hobart.
I hung up the phone, fell into my chair, snapped on the lights, and fell out of it again. My office had been massacred. The place had been ransacked thoroughly and looked like the morning after a Comanche smoker. And you guessed it, my safe had been drilled open. The ancient and valuable Nipmuc wampum belt was gone. At this point, I decided what Chief Black Cloud needed was a detective.
Now, here's important news on good grooming. If you want the well-groomed look that helps you get ahead, socially and on the job, listen. Recently, thousands of people from coast to coast who bought Wild Root Cream Oil for the first time were asked, how does Wild Root Cream Oil compare with the hair tonic you previously used? The results were amazing. Better than 4 out of 5 who replied said they preferred Wild Root Cream Oil. Remember, non-alcoholic Wild Root Cream Oil contains lanolin. It grooms the hair naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose, ugly dandruff. So if you want your hair to be more attractive than ever before, get the generous new 25-cent size of Wild Root Cream Oil, America's leading hair tonic, on sale at all drug and toilet goods counters. It's also available in larger economy bottles and the handy new tube. Get Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men who put good grooming first. By the way, smart girls use Wild Root Cream Oil, too, and mothers say it's grand for training children's hair. And now, back to the Chagagagog Manchagagog Chabunagun Gamog Caper. Tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
I found Chief Black Cloud sitting cross-legged and looking disconsolately down into a small cardboard box. Both squaws, including little white Lilac, were on one side of the room grinding corn. Lilac looked through me as if I didn't exist. I sat down next to the chief, looked into the box, and recoiled. It was a real, no imitation, 20th century scalp, and the red hair was certainly Hobart's.
Scalp comes with note.
Yeah, let me see.
Note written in Algonquin dialect. I translate. Honor Chief Black Cloud. Return to Santee Dakota Reservation and die proper death fitting to old man. Here you will meet violence unto death, even as this man did.
What's the point across? Look, Chief, it isn't that I'm scared, which I am, but I just decided to pull out of this caper.
What?
I've heard some things about you that don't sound too good.
You hear what?
That you want to start an Indian revolution to settle an old score with the white men.
Who tell you this?
The fairest of them all, little white Lilac.
She tell you?
I've never talked to him.
She not only told me all that, but she...
Quiet! Spade, when did little white Lilac tell you these things?
She came to my office today.
That's a lie. I never left this hotel.
We will see. Kalanuka.
No.
Yes, Chief Black Cloud.
Did little white Lilac leave hotel today?
Little white Lilac with me all day.
Why,
Never out of sight.
Enough. Go away. Kalanuka speak with tongue of truth. Little white Lilac, I have grown from baby. She also speak with tongue of truth. Somebody lie.
Now, look, Chief, I know what I'm talking about. You...
Chief does not need help of double-tongued man. Return wampum belt to me. I pay you.
All right, I'll,
Well?
Chief.
Chief, heard enough lies. Return wampum
wait
belt.
a minute. I got a small but biting bit of truth to relate. Somebody stole the wampum belt.
Wampum belt gone?
Somebody broke into my office, drilled the safe, and took it.
You stole it?
It was stolen from me.
Return wampum or you not live until sundown.
I'll return it if I can find it. Then you can pay me off and we'll call it even.
The makers of Wild Root Cream Oil are presenting the weekly Sunday adventure of Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, Sam Spade. Now, here's important news on good grooming. If you want the well-groomed look that helps you get ahead, socially and on the job, listen. Recently, thousands of people from coast to coast who bought Wild Root Cream Oil for the first time were asked, how does Wild Root Cream Oil compare with the hair tonic you previously used? The results were amazing. Better than 4 out of 5 who replied said they preferred Wild Root Cream Oil. Remember, non-alcoholic Wild Root Cream Oil contains lanolin. It grooms the hair naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose, ugly dandruff. So if you want your hair to be more attractive than ever before, get the generous new 25-cent size of Wild Root Cream Oil, America's leading hair tonic, on sale at all drug and toilet goods counters. It's also available in larger economy bottles and the handy new tube. By the way, smart girls use Wild Root Cream Oil, too, and mothers say it's grand for training children's hair. Get Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. And now, back to tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
I walked outside, muttering frightful white man's imprecations. Cutting through the hotel parking lot, I suddenly noticed the chief's iron pony made by Pontiac. There was a leather bag on the seat, sort of an Indian overnight case, and sticking out of it was a blood-stained tomahawk. This was of decided interest to me, and so were the rest of its contents. Somebody had a giant engineering project afoot because there were order receipts for such things as 2 LSTs, 4 underwater hydraulic drills, a diving bell, a dredging barge, and a steam derrick.
Back again, eh, Spade?
Yeah, back again, Mr. Watts.
Still looking for the missing Clarence Hobart?
Not anymore.
Well, I knew you'd realize the futility of it.
I found him.
And I trust you found him in good health. Old Hobart's a bug on health. Why, once when we were in Cleveland...
I think he's dead.
It was the Ohio River Bridge, John. Dead? Did you say Hobart dead?
Scalped, anyway. Mr. Watts, what was Hobart working on with the chief?
Well, I don't know exactly.
Well, let's go look at his desk file and see if we can find out. In the bottom drawer, under a lot of miscellaneous papers, we found a large manila envelope marked Black Cloud. It contained some topographical surveys of an area containing a lake. On the back of one of the surveys was written in fine print a series of 37 letters that looked like a whole group of Indian words strung together, or a code, or just doodling. It started out Chargaga, something or other. I left Mr. Watts sitting in his office with tears in his eyes, a new role for him, and made my weary way back to my place of business. Effie was standing in the middle of the office with a shocked look on her face.
Sam, look at this office. How did it get like this? Oh, my files and everything.
Come on, I'll help you pick things up. And again, by the way, what are you doing here? It's still your day off.
When you were here last time, I wanted to show you something, but you were so anxious to get to that girl.
All right, I'm here, and I'll look. What is it?
A new suede coat. How do you like it? The color's rough.
Well, I suppose... Effie.
What?
What's that you're wearing as a belt?
Oh, now, don't be mad, Sam. I just had to. It went so well with the coat, and when I saw it, I couldn't...
Chief Black Cloud's wampum belt. You didn't put it in the safe.
Now,
Give
Sam,
it to
don't
me.
be mad,
Give it to
please.
me. Wait right here. I'll be gone for half an hour, and then I'll come back and take you out to the best dinner in town.
Oh, I should go home and change first.
I had taken only 4 steps down the hall when somebody hit me from behind. I rolled, and he went with me. We fought a quick, quiet, and decisive fight. And at the end of it, I held him in an arm lock and led him back into my office. Come on.
What happened, Sam? You're back early.
I had an unexpected caller. Come in with me and take notes.
Sit there. All right.
Now, who are you and what's on your mind?
I'm nobody, and I got nothing on my mind.
Spring, you're one of the braves that guarded the chief.
Yeah?
And you're a phony Indian, lousy makeup, and Indians don't have hair in their chests.
All right. My name's Grit Hammond. I'm a cowpoke, and I should have stayed where I belong, out on the range.
Well, why didn't you?
Oh, once I said I'd do anything for that gal. Now I wish I hadn't. She brought me here.
Why?
Well, it had something to do with buried treasure. She was going to give me a big cut.
Where is it buried?
I don't know. She was going to tell me.
I took Hammond around a homicide and left him in their safekeeping. While there, I got the latest flash. They'd found Clarence Hobart dead and less scalped down by the waterfront. There were no clues except a blow on the back of the head and lipstick on his mouth, which is enough for me, having been through the same course myself. Then I proceeded to St. Mark, 4th floor. Little white lilac met me at the door.
You can't see the chief.
Why not?
He's asleep.
One side. When the chief sees what I've got, he'll wake up screaming his wampum.
You have it?
And with that, she pounced. I pushed her off, but she came back and got a hold of one end of the wampum and tried to pull it away from me, with disastrous results. The wampum came apart, and in a second was nothing but hundreds of beads rolling different directions all over the place. In fact, it was no more.
Oh!
What happens in Chief's council lodge? Chief cannot sleep.
Well, I brought back your wampum, but now it's all over the floor.
Wampum belt destroyed?
Yes, it's destroyed, you stupid old man.
You
talk to, Chief?
Yes, stupid. You had the world in your hands. You didn't know it. You wanted it all for yourself, to tear down the earth. It could have been used to live.
What are you saying?
To live the way I'm supposed to live. Now nobody will have it, not even you or that fat engineer who wanted it.
Little White Lilac, shut mouth.
I've been shutting my mouth all my life. You're a stupid, ignorant, disgusting old man. You'd be better off.
His big hands were around her throat. He stood there, anger and betrayal in his eyes. Then his hands dropped and he turned away with tears streaming down his face. It was then that the fair Indian maid went for him with a knife. And that was my cue to step in with a pale-face weapon.
And now, listen to this. Not only Dad, but the whole family goes for America's favorite hair tonic, Wild Root Cream Oil. Wild Root Cream Oil grooms your hair neatly and naturally, relieves dryness, removes loose, ugly dandruff. Get a family-size bottle or handy tube today. And ask your barber for a professional application of Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too.
Little White Lilac. Yeah, well, I don't usually hit women, but don't feel too badly, Chief. She helped kill Clarence Hobart.
Now, Chief, believe anything.
Yeah, Chief, why did you want an engineer?
Design woven in wampum describes location of hidden Nipmuc treasure. Many years ago, Nipmuc tribe live in valley of the Berkshires. Discover only gold vein in east. Mine gold and keep for decoration. Kennebec Indians want gold. Start out on warpath. Nipmuc Indians bury gold. Move village. Divert stream into valley. Make lake. Gold there today, underwater.
Where is it?
That secret chief keep locked in head. Chief once had evil plan for gold. Now you forget. Make pilgrimage back to ancient ancestral camp and die. Send me bill. Chief, leave village of San Francisco for good.
Period. End of powwow.
Oh, Sam, it's sad.
It is.
Vanishing race.
Mm-hmm.
Just think, the days of the Colt and the Winchester are gone forever.
But the day of the Remington is still with us. Go to it and type this up.
Bloody tomahawk get in Chief Black Cloud's bag.
Little White Lilac planted it there. If anything happened to the chief, she, as the only other living Nipmuc, would inherit the wampum.
Well, she could have gotten the money by just waiting.
Oh, shut up.
Sam, you notice anything about the report?
Yeah. Hey, you got the name of the caper right. The Chagaga... Oh, what is it?
Chagagagog, Manchagagog, Chabunamungamog Caper.
You've been going out with an elocution teacher.
Oh, Sam.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, are produced and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade is played by Howard Duff. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. The Adventures of Sam Spade are written for radio by Bob Tallman and Gil Dowd. Musical direction by Lud Gluskin, with score composed by Renee and Pierre Garrigan. Join us again next Sunday when author Dashiell Hammett and producer William Spear join forces for another adventure with Sam Spade. Brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. This is Dick Joy reminding you to...
Get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. It keeps your hair in trim. You see, it's non-alcoholic, Charlie. It's made with soothing lanolin. You better get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. Start using it today. You'll find that you will have a tough time, Charlie. Keeping all the gals away. Hiya, Baldy. Get Wild Root right away.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
Sam
State Detective Agency.
Oh, murder.
Oh, Sam. Have you had a hard day?
Murderous? 9 this morning, I grinned through 25 poses, count them, over dishes of all 25 varieties of Sanderson succulent soup, a meal in a can. Then,
Really, Sam?
Then I was imprisoned in a plush chair for 2 hours with a glass in my hand.
No.
Yes, of Brannigan's Bog, the whiskey that smells like old Ireland.
It sounds interesting.
It wasn't. They wouldn't let me touch it till after.
Aw.
And for the rest of the afternoon, I've been pulling up my trousers.
Woo.
For a series of leg art shots which will bear the legend, Samuel Spade, prominent San Francisco detective, says McGonagall's grip tight is the garter for me.
Oh, Sam, how thrilling to be prominent.
Maybe so, but fame is a sometime thing, sweetheart. Just a flash bulb in the pan, as you will agree when you have heard my report on the Cheesecake Caper. I ought to be infectious. I'm beautiful to see.
Oh, Sam. It was a photography caper?
Yes, and as it developed, it was a snap. Does that make you shatter?
Oh, Sam.
Well, have you got any photography jokes?
No.
All right, then. We just saved 30 seconds. And, by the way, Miss Perrine, statistics prove that 9 out of 10 private secretaries have the pencil ready when the boss comes in. Why do you always have to be number 10?
Well, I'm ready, Sam. Here's the pencil.
That's better. 2, Homicide Division, San Francisco Police Department. Attention, Lieutenant Kelsey from Samuel Spade, license number 127596. Subject, the Cheesecake Caper. Dear Kelsey. Down. Cheesecake, to me, was something that cost 25 cents on the a la carte side of a menu up until now. As a matter of fact, the Cheesecake theme didn't make itself felt until sometime after the beginning of this, which was a phone call at high noon, just as I was wondering where I'd eat. Sam Spade.
Mr. Spade, I gotta see you right away. What are you doing?
About to go to lunch. Who's this?
I'll tell you later. I gotta see you first. Right now.
Well, all right. You want to come to my office?
No, I'm at Barney's Grill. You know where that is?
Yeah, I know where that is. Who will I ask for?
Just go in and order a sandwich. Nobody sent for you, see? You just come in for lunch.
I just go... let me get this straight now. You hiring me?
Yeah, $50 in it for you, Spade. All I got. But remember, you don't know nothing about it, see? You just came by for lunch.
Wednesday is when they have sauerbraten and potato pancakes at Barney's, but then it had been only that very morning that my secretary, Miss Effie Perrine, had looked at my figure, of which she is usually inordinately fond, and made certain remarks to the effect that a few of my pounds needed devaluating. So I decided on a sandwich. The business crowd hadn't arrived, so I slid into a vacant booth, ordered my sandwich, and waited for something to happen.
Well, Spade.
Huh?
You remember me, Spade, Fred Malloy?
Yeah, afraid so. Last I heard, you were in Cleveland.
Yeah, but I'm in San Francisco now.
Well, Cleveland's gain is our loss.
I like it here.
Maybe they had a hot spell in Cleveland, huh?
Heat never bothered me much.
Yeah, you ought to be used to that by now.
Let's talk about you, Spade. How's business, huh?
Please, I'm eating.
Yeah, so I noticed. You like Barney's, huh?
As good as the next joint, yeah.
I mean, you come in here all the time, regular. You ain't here on business now, are you, Spade?
Sure, Freddie, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, making a little deal.
Yeah, who with?
Barney, corned beef on rye.
Oh.
Hey, sir. One corned beef on...
What's the matter?
Oh, the cook loused it up, sir. You said rye, didn't you? This here's wheat.
Oh, that's all right. Here.
No. I'll fix it up, sir. Only
forget it. I said wheat's all right. Now, how about a cup of coffee and I'm all set?
Denny.
Yeah?
You said you were going off duty.
Yeah, I know. I'm just finishing up a couple of orders. I'll get my hat.
Never mind the hat. Come on, Denny. I'm parked out front. I hate to get wrong with cops.
Yeah. Okay. Tell the boss
I already told the boss. Get going. So long, Spade.
Just stay there and enjoy your sandwich, sir.
Yeah, so long. The waiter, of course, was the guy who called me, a white-faced young kid sweating with his black tie up under his left ear. They walked outside and got into a car parked in front of the restaurant. Of all things, a limousine with a liveried chauffeur. I watched through the front doors. It pulled away, picked up the license number, and called the Department of Motor Vehicles. The car belonged to Mike Sheldon, known to the voters of the North Beach section as Uncle Mike, a white-haired, jolly-faced gentleman of dubious means and still more dubious methods who had something to do with politics. What he had to do with a weasel like Freddie Malloy, much less a poor waiter boy at Barney's, was something to ponder. I sidled back to my booth and attacked the corned beef on wheat. My teeth, instead of going all the way through the sandwich, which is the way I like it, struck something firm and unyielding. I pulled from between the lettuce and the bread a wax paper envelope. Inside was a $50 bill
and a small photograph of a blonde. Denny, the waiter, had scribbled 3 words in the corner of it. Find this girl.
You care for some more coffee, sir? I got
Yeah. Bring the pot, will you? And, waiter.
Yes, sir?
This, Denny, the kid who was just here. What's his last name?
Denny? It's Weston. Denny Weston.
Yeah, okay. Where's he live, you know?
Well, I'm not sure. I think he has an apartment out around Larkin Street somewhere, but I'm not sure. Is he a funny kid?
Yeah, what's funny about him?
Well, I mean, working as a waiter in a joint like this when his sister had all that dough living in that knobby little apartment and all, you know.
Who's his sister?
Monica Weston. You must have heard of her. Used to be a dancer in some joint over in North Beach.
Well, I don't get around much anymore.
Well, you saw the papers, didn't you?
She was in the papers?
Yeah, committed suicide. Denny nearly went off his rocker.
Wait a minute. Look, is this here his sister?
Oh, let me see. No. Monica was a redhead. This here's a blonde. Well, I'd better get you that coffee while it's out. Be right with you.
I examined my sandwich for further clues, found nothing except corned beef, so I put it back together and began to eat it while I scrutinized the picture of the blonde. A nice-looking girl in her 20s, no scars, birthmarks, buck teeth, or anything else to set her apart from roughly 25,000 other blondes in San Francisco. There were a couple of points, though. The picture was about 2 inches square, showing her head and shoulders, and her hand was up to her face as if she was surprised at something near the camera. On one of her fingers was a ring, which I couldn't quite make out. On the back of the picture were the letters L-P. Now, this is probably the credit stamp of some professional photographer. I abandoned my sandwich, thumbed through the yellow section of the phone book, and stifled a cry of triumph as I discovered the firm of Leonard and Perkins, photographers, with an office on Bush Street, where forthwith I went.
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Spade. I don't think we did that here.
You're sure that's not your mark on the back, Mr. Leonard?
Oh, positive. And anyway, that's not the kind of work we do. Looks like an outdoor flash shot. Ours is all studio stuff. Funny trimming it down like that.
Trimming it down?
Yeah, this is probably a standard 8x10. Someone just got the center out of it.
Thanks very much. Bye. So I went to the telephone book again, but instead of looking for the L-P as the front initials of the firm, I looked for them in the middle, since both ends of the photographer's credit stamp were trimmed off. And I ran across an outfit called Cal Texas on Harrison Street.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to speak to the proprietor, please.
There's 3 of them. Mr. Murphy, Mr. Silverian, Mr. Brennis. Take your pick.
Murphy will do.
He's out.
How about Silverian?
Tied up with Mr. Brennis.
Where are they tied up?
First door to your right. That's the main studio. Do not enter if the red light is on.
Heaven forfend.
No. Al, will you let me do it my way?
There is no human interest.
I have seen photographers at work in my time, but not like this. I saw now why they were tied up. They were fit to be tied. In the middle of the studio was a mass of equipment that looked like a cross between the Palomar telescope and an atom smasher, with what seemed to be a stretched-out accordion on the bottom. All of it pointed at something lit up by floodlights on a small table. When I got up close, I found out what it was. Brennis and Silveria were photographing a plate of pork and beans.
Al, for crying out loud, look at that pork.
What is the matter with that pork?
What's the matter with it? It just lies there.
What do you expect it to do, Chemmy?
Excuse me, fellas,
When did we hire you?
You didn't. I only wanted to...
don't pay any attention to him, John. Now, come on, focus.
Focus.
Well,
Now, what's
okay.
the use? Why waste the shot? You know what he said? The pork's got to have get up and go.
Get up and go.
It's got to look succulent. It's got to look married to those beans.
What do you want me to do? Sprinkle it with orange sauce?
Look, fellas, I really don't want to interrupt.
You know
Honest, but...
good, Silveria. You know what they're going to run under the shot, don't you? Nussbaum's New England pork and beans married in the can.
Can I be best man?
Okay, what do you want?
I'm only Sam Spade, a private detective, trying to locate this girl here.
What girl?
Ever seen her?
Sure.
Where?
Well, this is our shot.
Huh?
Look, you remember, Al, the cheesecake job the other night? Look at it.
Oh, yeah.
Cheesecake job?
Down at the railroad.
Yeah, that was for Norby's nifty nylon.
You mean this girl's a model?
No. She walked in front of the camera at just the wrong time and loused up the shot. We had to shoot it over.
Yeah, we had a model with a pair of Norby's nylons on, see? Well-known brand of stocking, and the idea was to stand her up next to a train coming down at the depot there.
Then what we tried to do was get a shot of her fixing a guard, a lay guard, you know.
Yeah.
Surefire.
Yeah, with a lot of admiring glances from the crowd.
Brand new idea. Yeah. Real train, real station, real people.
Documentary.
Yeah. So Al sets up the camera, and the model makes with the garter, and I whistle to get the crowd's eye, and we set off the flash. But the dame here walked in front of the camera.
However, it was not her fault.
No, it's an awful nice kid. We told her to drop by, we'd give her the shot.
Great, swell. What's her name?
I don't know her name.
Did she come by?
Yeah, a couple of mornings ago. I gave her the print and the negative, too.
Got any other copies of it?
Well, I don't know. It'll take us a while to check the file.
Oh, it's
Well, look, do that, will you? And if you find anything, here's my phone number.
Yeah. Now, as I was saying about that fork, John,
Again with a
your
fork.
fork is your fork. There is nothing you can do to glamour it.
Glamorize the number on fork.
So I bought an afternoon paper and went back to the office to take the load off my feet and mull over this latest turn of events. I mulled, decided to contact Denny Weston, my client, found his phone number in the book, and was about to call when the phone went off in my hand. Sam Spade.
Spade, this is Denny Weston, the waiter. I'm the guy who...
Yeah, I know. I was about to call you.
Don't call me, understand? You don't know me. I never saw you.
Wait a minute now. I've been chasing that blonde all afternoon.
You got your $50, didn't you?
What's the matter? Is Freddie standing there with a gun at your back?
Shut up about Freddie.
Okay, then let's talk about your sister Monica, or maybe this blonde you stuck in my corned beef sandwich. And don't let Freddie throw a scare into you. Hello. Hello, Denny. So that left me with a set of grim suspicions, a $50 bill, and no client. I put my feet up on the desk and opened the paper. Then I put my feet back down on the floor. On the front page was a picture of my blonde with a caption over it reading, "You know this girl." I took the other picture out of my pocket and compared them. They were the same except for one thing. The picture in the paper was taken on a slab in the city morgue. While putting my shoes back on, I read the article under the picture of my blonde. It was simple enough. She'd turned up in the bay near the yacht harbor an hour before with a bullet in her back. The paper said nothing about identification. It didn't have to. Knowing you as I do, Lieutenant, I realized if there had been anything on the body to identify it, the picture wouldn't have been in the paper.
Now, pictures, Brennus.
This is Spade. You got anything on that front of the blonde?
But we're still on the pork and beans.
Yeah, well, drop it for now, will you? And check the files. And if you find the print, sit on it or put it in the safe or something. Understand?
But the pork and
The pork and beans will have to wait until we find who put the lady in the bay. I had a pretty good idea who put the lady in the bay, but why and how to prove it was something else again. So I turned back to the picture, got out my 15-cent store magnifying glass, and took a closer look at the ring in her hand. It seemed to be black, shaped like a shield with a gold center that looked like a dagger and a mask. 5 telephone calls later, I found the company that made it. For an honor society at the University of California.
Blue and gold office.
Is that the campus yearbook, the blue and gold?
Yes, sir, that's right.
Do you publish the pictures of the members of the Mask and Dagger Society?
We sure do. Who's this?
My name is Spade. I'm trying to locate one of the members of the society. Have you got the yearbook files in your office?
Clear back to 1895.
Well, good. Get out the books from about 1940 on, will you? I'll be over in a half hour. We found her in the class of 1941. Her name was Helen McKelvey.
What is it?
I understand a Miss Helen McKelvey lived here.
No, I never heard of her.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm not going to hurt you. You're the landlady here, aren't you?
I tell you, I don't know any McKelvey.
Well, the city directory lists her at this address.
It must be a mistake.
I don't think so.
I don't know anything. I tell
Come
you.
on now. Sit down. Do you good to get it off your mind. There you are. Sit down.
But I don't know anything.
Oh, look, that's not going to help any. I told you I'm on your side.
Who are you?
Sam Spade. I'm a private detective. Now, you know where Helen McKelvey is right now, I suppose.
Yes, I do.
Well, I'm trying to find out who put her there and why.
Then what?
I'll hang it on him if I can. That's why I'm here. Now, tell me, what did Helen have to do with Mike Sheldon? Come on.
Well, I don't know much about it. She was a lovely girl. Strange, you know, she kept things to herself mostly.
What kind of things?
She was doing some kind of political work in the North Beach district.
You mean she was working for Mike Sheldon?
Oh, against him.
Oh?
They were trying to defeat him, expose his rackets and his gambling, and heaven knows what else he was involved in.
Heaven knows indeed.
She took it all so seriously. Petitions and leaflets and telephone calls.
I see.
I kept telling her she was working too hard, and her health would go. And it did. Last election time, she spent a week in the hospital. But it was all useless. Sheldon was too big, too powerful. Why, he never even heard of her.
I can guarantee you didn't know her by sight.
I know. Then last week a strange thing happened. I arranged for her to spend the weekend with my sister in Palo Alto.
Mm-hmm.
She came back Monday, terribly excited. And at last she had a weapon against Mike Sheldon.
What did she mean?
I don't know. But it wasn't just Sheldon. It was his whole organization. She sounded crazy, like she was going to tackle them all by herself.
Then what?
And she packed her suitcase and moved out to some hotel. She wouldn't say where. I was worried about her. I looked through her room afterwards. That's when I found this clipping.
Mm-hmm.
Here.
Last Thursday's Chronicle.
Does it help?
Police seek motive in showgirl suicide. Investigation of circumstances surrounding the suicide of Monica Weston, nightclub dancer, moved into its third day without producing a reason why the girl apparently took her own life Friday night by leaping from a southbound train. I took off for headquarters where, as you'll recall, Kelsey, we went over the file on the showgirl caper. As you'll also recall, we came up with nothing that wasn't in the newspaper. The girl had apparently climbed aboard the train at 3rd and Townsend, eased down the aisle to the end of the car where a porter had left the door open, and flung herself off on a straightaway stretch near South City, where the train hits it up around 70 miles an hour. She'd been pretty, unaccountably prosperous, and hardly a candidate for suicide. But nothing had turned up in her background to set her up as a candidate for murder, either. So that's where it stood. 2 dead young ladies and a missing cheesecake photograph of Norby's nifty nylon. Feeling this is enough for a day, I limped back to my apartment. I tossed my hat on the bed and started to pour myself a drink.
Oh, you never want to do that, Spade.
Huh? Oh, Freddie.
Dumb stunt tossing your hat on the bed. It's bad luck.
Yeah, that's not so bad, Freddie. Well, I expect to go home to a cold, empty apartment, and I find you. How about a drink?
Oh, no, thanks. I didn't come to drink.
Oh, how'd you get in? Walk under the door?
Oh, in a gay mood, ain't you?
I'm a cheerful type.
Had a busy day, Spade?
Oh, ran a few errands. You know, there's an ugly rumor running around town, Freddie.
Huh?
They're saying Uncle Mike Sheldon played sucker for this Monica Weston dame, that she was shaking him down and he got tired of it, what with the election coming up and all.
Yeah?
It's a fact. And they say she didn't commit suicide at all.
Well, where'd you hear this?
In Union Square while I was feeding the pigeons.
You think I'm kidding, huh? You think I'm kidding?
Now, wait. You know what happens to boys who play with guns, Freddie?
Shut up. Go on, answer it.
Okay. Hello.
Mr. Speed?
Yeah?
Silvery at Cal Pictures.
Uh-huh.
Listen, about that cheesecake shot.
Oh, now, Luella, don't take on. So I didn't mean it that way.
Luella? No, I'm talking about the cheesecake shop down at the depot.
Luella, honey, the girl is only a good friend. It's all your imagination.
Well, it's not my imagination. We found the print in the files, and it's here. The secretary just pulled a boner.
Whatever do you mean?
Someone named Mike Sheldon called, and she told him that we had it. Now, he's on his way here to pick
No,
it up.
no. Listen, Luella, don't do it. I'll be right down. Sorry, Freddie.
No. You ain't going nowhere,
Look,
Spade.
Freddie, this girl, she's all worked up about nothing.
Even the pigeons, huh? You want to know what you were doing, Spade?
What?
I'll tell you. 1:30 p.m. Went to a photographer on Harrison Street. 3 p.m. across to the campus at Berkeley. 10 after 4 to a rooming house on Bay Street. And from 5:30 to 7 at headquarters. Feeding the pigeons, sir.
You're just like Luella, Freddie. Your imagination's running away with you. Come on, have a drink.
Now, I told you I don't want to drink.
The bottle was half full, but it seemed like a good investment. Freddie took it just over the left ear side and sat on the floor. I dragged him into the closet, locked it, and took off the Cal picture.
All right, Al. have it your way. Well, if we lose a New Farm New England bean account, don't come sniveling to me.
Where's the picture?
Hello, Spade.
Oh, come on, John. Now focus down on it. Let's get this thing.
The beans.
2 days' work. Hey, what's the big idea?
I'm sorry, fellas. I accidentally hit it with my elbow. I'll buy you a new can tomorrow. Where's the picture?
On the table there.
I brought her over the floodlight and looked at her. The blonde was in the foreground, blocking out the model with the garter, but the shot wasn't entirely worthless since directly behind her, about to get on the train, looking squarely into the camera, was Monica Weston, the dead showgirl, and with her, with his white mane a-flying, was you-know-who.
Now, wait a minute. You can't follow Jim like this.
All right, hold it, boys.
I ducked out of the circle of light as they came in, Sheldon first, and 3 others. The gun in my hand made me feel better, but not much better. They closed the door, and the room was pitch dark again, except for the spot of light in the center.
Okay, Spade, where is it? I know you're in there, Spade.
You're a little late, Sheldon. We sent it to headquarters.
Yeah? Well, I think you've got it right here.
She had a negative, you know. Mailed them around like postcards.
I'm not worried about the others. Come on now, let's have it. You hear what I said, Spade?
Yeah? Come and get it.
Okay. Now, hold it, boys. Okay, Spade. I'll come and get it.
And we were all in the dark. I groped my way toward the door, came up against a shelf full of supplies when somebody whammed me by the skirt and the shelf went over. It sounded like a machine gun company on battle maneuvers. The mob hit the door in a rush, all that is except Sheldon, whom we found when we finally got the lights back on, trying to untangle himself from A, the floodlight stand, B, the table that had held the pork and beans, and C, 50 feet of light cable. Silveria was sitting in the middle of everything, sobbing softly.
3 brand new crates. 450 bucks worth of flat. And our last can of Nussbaum's pork and beans.
And that tells me what I wanted for that. Now I have in your hands my account of the affair, plus the cheesecake photograph, plus Michael Sheldon, who is, I admit, a fairly solid adversary. But, of course, this is fairly solid ammunition. Period, and a report. Make an extra copy of that for Denny Weston, if and when he ever comes out of that hole he ducked into when Sheldon started making with a threat.
Oh, if I'd had the least notion you were in such peril. I've been worried to death.
The peril didn't start until the next day, sweetheart.
The next day?
Well, that's when Brennis looked at me, squinted, and said, you know, Al, this guy's got just the face for Brannigan's Bog, the whiskey that smells like Old Ireland.
Oh, how awful.
A fate worse than death, sweetheart, but that is all behind me, while directly in front of you is, of course, the...
Because Yes, sir. I'll have it right away. The blonde, Sam. What was she trying to do with a picture of Uncle Mike with the other girl at the station?
You mean, why didn't she go to the police like any normal human being?
Oh.
Well, it's hard to say, F. She was really a sincere reformer. From here, it looks like she was trying to work up a partnership with the dead showgirl's brother. Maybe put the squeeze on Uncle Mike and force him to come across with names, numbers, and salaries of the members of his graft machine. Besides,
What?
she was a woman. Come here. A mad, unpredictable, illogical creature.
Oh, Sam.
Effie Perrine, the non-alcoholic secretary that contains lanolin.
Well, that's better than Brannigan's Bog, the whiskey that smells like Old Ireland.
Sure, that's a fine and broth of a girl she are, and I'll be saying good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade stars Howard Duff as Spade, with Lorene Tuttle as Effie. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective, brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic, the non-alcoholic hair tonic that contains lanolin, and new Wild Root Liquid Cream Shampoo.
Sam Spade Detective Agency.
It's me, sweetheart. You've heard of pulling a rabbit out of a hat?
Yes?
Well, I pulled one out of a pickle.
What happened, Sam?
What happened, she asked. Well, goodbye.
Oh, don't go, Sam. Don't you feel like talking about it?
Frankly, no, but it's expected of me. Sharpen a carrot, throw me some rabbit punch, get the hutch ready, for I'm about to hippity-hop through the door with the lowdown on the Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail Caper.
Dashiell Hammett, America's leading detective fiction writer and creator of Sam Spade, the hard-boiled private eye, and William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, join their talents to make your hair stand on end with the adventures of Sam Spade. Presented by the makers of Wild Root Cream Oil for the hair. Say, Mother, if you got a special thrill out of buying things the whole family can use, then stop at your drug or toilet goods counter for a big family-sized bottle or tube of Wild Root Cream Oil, America's favorite family hair tonic. Dad, Junior, Sis, yes, and you yourself, Mom, will find Wild Root Cream Oil ideal for grooming the hair neatly and naturally, for relieving dryness and removing loose dandruff. So, Mom, ask for it tonight or tomorrow for sure. Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. And now, with Howard Duff starring as Spade, Wild Root brings to the air the greatest private detective of them all in the adventures of Sam Spade.
What's the meaning of this?
Of what?
My desk and my chair shoved over to one side of the office.
To make room for the other desk and the bookcase.
There'll be no other desk and no bookcase and no anything else.
But, Sam, I thought you...
Don't say it. Don't even think about that, Nan. You understand? It's deliciously silent in here, don't you think, Eth?
Sam, weren't you and he supposed to go...
Stop! Effie, would you like to have your mouth dry cleaned?
No, Sam. I'm sorry.
I spoke harshly, forgive me, but the past hours have taken their toll on my nerves. Perhaps I should unburden myself. We'd all feel better.
All right, Sam. Unburden yourself.
I'm still in command here.
Oh.
To Mrs. Wellington Van Cleve Montague, Nob Hill, where else? City. From Samuel Spade, license number 137-596. What else? Subject, the Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail Caper, or how Fritz Crockett saved the day. My dear, dear Mrs. Montague. It all began Thursday afternoon when I entered my office and discovered a tall, wiry young man sitting in my chair with his feet up on my desk and sampling my office bottle.
Hi.
The pose was so familiar for a minute I thought it was me.
Hello, Sam. I'll be with you in a minute. Have a seat.
Thanks, I think I will. The one you're sitting in. You see, the detective sits in that seat and the clients sit over there.
Well, that qualifies me for this seat, then. I'm a detective.
I see. Well, the detective we like in this office is Sam Spade, see? He pays the rent, he hires the secretary, he earns the money, and he sits behind his desk. Now, on your feet.
Okay. But with two detectives around here and only one detective's chair, it's going to get a little crowded.
Mind if I have a drink? Out of my glass?
Oh, sure. Here. You know, we'd better make a note to get another glass, too. And some scotch. I don't care much for that bourbon.
No self-respecting detective drinks scotch.
And put this down. We'll need another desk and new paint job on these walls.
Oh?
I think something bright. Robin's egg blue, maybe. Soothes the nervous clients. And a bookshelf. You got that, Effie, dear? Or am I going too fast?
No, down, Pip. Desk, paint, bookshelf, scotch.
That too, Effie?
She's a doll.
Wait a minute, that's my line.
After I work with you a while, Sam, you'll appreciate me.
So long.
I'm great.
Bye.
You need me.
Why?
Because we'd be an unbeatable team. With high talent and your luck, we couldn't miss.
Luck?
Ever hear of Fritz Crockett?
Chicago Fritz Crockett?
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
Oh, Sam.
Look, you're making a mark in your hometown. Now, why do you want to work for me in San Francisco?
I lost my license in Chicago. Got caught on the hot side of a political battle. Worked for the losers, and the winners framed me for my license.
Oh, gee, tough kid.
I can't get a license in any state until I
clear that mess up. And so I have to work under somebody else's.
Figures, but why me?
Because I've kept my eye on you, Sam. I like the way you're developing. I think you could work well with me.
Gee, thanks. Well, your application's received. Now, give me a couple of years to think it over.
What's the matter, Sam? Afraid I might cut your reputation in town?
You found me out. But anyway, bye.
Chicken, huh? Look, you want to compare scrapbooks sometime? A really good detective's got to be an actor. I play any style. Listen, we're following a Russian countess to recover Gorky's original manuscript of the lower depths. I meet her in the lobby of the St. Mark, disguised as an itinerant caviar salesman. Countess Natasha Bishikov. Oh, here in San Francisco, my dear. How long has it been? 8 years, 12 years. Have you forgotten little Andrea so soon?
Andrea, sorry, no casting today.
Well, look, you gotta be an actor, Sam. Look, we're dealing a mortal blow to the gun-running career of Don Jose Ortega Sanchez, the notorious bandit king. Don Jose, you have run your last peace-loving border countries. I am powerless to prevent your execution. Die like the proud Spaniard you are. Cigarette?
Fritz, for heaven's sake.
I help you, Sam. Look, you've been captured by a mutinous crew off an English tramp steamer, and I burst through the door. Get your bloomin' bloody hands off that man.
This one I can do myself. Off a mo, Tigger. I don't know exactly why I sat there listening to the guy, but I did. He was a sort of a one-man theater guild. He ran through 28 dialects, played a scene in which James Mason and Montgomery Clift were trapped by an Armenian rug merchant and was saved by the voice of Gabriel Heater on the radio. Then he played all four of the Marx Brothers arguing with the Andrews sisters. Then, after the intermission, he told me a little bit about himself, regaling me with spine-tingling accounts of his Frank Merriwell-type achievements on the football field, in professional boxing, and hockey. It was pretty thrilling stuff, but nonetheless, I was about to usher him out when he came up with a particularly good bit of dialogue.
I have a job for us.
Yeah, well, so... John, where?
Yesterday, Sam, I met an old friend from Chicago. She remembered me from an important cocktail party. Saved it for her, the party. Everyone was absolutely dreary until I became de rigueur with a brace of amusing anecdotes.
The job, Fritz, the job.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, she wants us to guard a valuable hunk of jewelry at a party tonight on Nob Hill.
What's the money?
$100 apiece, plus mingling with nautch dancers and all the caviar we can eat.
Well, that was better than I expected. In fact,
now, here's what I want you to do.
Oh, wait a minute. What's this here's what I want you to do? This is the Sam Spade Detective Agency, named so because Sam Spade is the man who gives the orders around here. Now, what do you want me to do?
Well, this is a costume party, and we have to wear costumes. It's in the deal.
Good. I'll break your leg, and you can go as the man who came to dinner.
Sam, I already have the costumes.
What?
Right here.
Crockett, what would you have done if I didn't go with you?
The thought never entered my head, Sam.
What are the costumes?
Sam, 100 clams apiece is a lot of dough, isn't it?
Agreed.
You are about to confront the reason we are being paid so much.
What is that?
Your costume. You are to go as a rabbit, a white rabbit. Here's the suit. Oh, and here's the head. Notice the shocking pink ears.
No, the deal's off. It's been swell, Fritz.
Now, wait a minute. I am also going as a rabbit. See? You will go as Flopsy, and I will go as Mopsy.
I will not go anywhere dressed in that ridiculous outfit.
$100, Sam.
I will... Well...
Sam, let's talk this over. Now, look, I will talk to you as a businessman might talk to you. Now, Mr. Spade, you take your ordinary type detective, and you've got it pretty solid.
We talked and talked, and around 8 o'clock that night I found myself still talking and walking up the steps of your Nob Hill mansion, Mrs. Montague, cleverly disguised as Flopsy the rabbit, paw in paw with Mopsy Crockett. My headpiece covered everything but my eyes, nose, and mouth, and I was grateful for that. When I passed the doorman, I was tempted to say, what's up, Doc? But Fritz said it ahead of me. He walked in as if this were his personal hutch, and you and Mrs. Montague cruised over to us.
Here, my little bunny twins, aren't you both just darling?
Yeah.
Which one of you is Mr. Spade?
Well, I'm Mr. Crockett, Mrs. Montague. Mopsy. You remember me from the Nesbitt soiree, Ronnie and Benita, or maybe it was Gypsy introduced us, n'est-ce pas?
Oh, yes. Oh, and Flopsy here must be Mr. Spade. I've always wanted to meet him.
Thank you, Mrs. Montague. I am the straight man.
How do you like my costume?
Well,
there's not another one like it in town. I'm the only wooden imp in San Francisco.
The trees will swoon. They will.
Oh, you...
Mrs. Montague, perhaps you're disposed to outline our job.
Well, of course, Mr. Crockett. Myself, Mrs. Arlington Crippen McGill, and the famous Spanish artist Julio Duriego are going to trick the woman with the most fascinating costume.
Search no farther. It could be nowhere anyone but you.
Flatterer! I'm not eligible.
Oh.
Then at 10 o'clock we will have the grand parade. The winner will lead the parade wearing a small jewel-studded crown. Oh, darling. Diamonds and emeralds and all sorts of amusing things. Well, this crown once belonged to Josephine of France. Imagine.
Mrs. Montague, I hate to be an old killjoy, but are we here to guard the crown?
That's right, Flopsy. I mean, Mr. Spade.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, of course, I don't expect any trouble, but it's so valuable. I can't take any chances. My husband picked it up in Iran. He's in pickles, you know.
Well, you know best.
Where is the crown now, Mrs. Montague?
Oh, in the wall safe in the master bedroom on the second floor. Here's the combination to the safe written down.
I'd rather not have the combination, if you don't mind, until it's time to get the crown.
Oh, now don't you be silly, Mr. Spade. Except for the crown, there's only $50,000 or $60,000 in the safe.
Oh, well, if that's all
Now, the safe is behind the Degas original. Now, until I need you, go and enjoy yourself.
Well, we'll go.
Maybe I'll even let you dance with little me.
Fritz and I had synchronized our watches and decided that until we were needed, we would lose ourselves in the crowd and keep our big rabbit ears open. Everybody was masked and loaded, and it was all very gay. I brushed elbows with pirates, Northwest Mounted Police, unmounted, a gorilla, an Arabian princess, 4 Pocahontas, and a sort of historical characters from Julius Caesar to Mike Romanoff. While I was dipping a carrot into the punch bowl, a girl made her way over to me. I knew it was a girl immediately. You could tell. I tagged her as a burlesque queen, but she didn't talk much like it.
Are you an he-bunny or a she-bunny?
I'm a he-bunny.
Would you like to dance with me?
I'd be delighted.
Who are you?
I'm not supposed to tell until the mask come off. For now, just call me Flopsy.
Flopsy? How cute. You Americans have the cutest ideas.
Yes. Speaking of ideas, what do you represent?
Oh, I am a Folie Bergère dancer. Do you like me?
From where I stand, it would be next to impossible to dislike you.
Such a sweet compliment.
Believe me, it was easy. Tell me, have you been in this country long?
A few weeks. My family has sent me on a tour of America.
I see.
I am here as a guest of Monsieur Montague. Now tell me, you are a detective, are you not?
As much as I regretted doing it, I hastily detached myself from Miss Foley's Bergère of 1949. How she knew I was a detective puzzled me. I saw Crockett talking with a paunchy red devil and a middle-aged Christopher Columbus and stopped by. They were big businessmen, obviously, and so was he.
Well, now, you take your ordinary horse paper brief, double duty voices.
It was impossible to interrupt him, so I moved on. Finally, I sat down to rest in a dim corner of the library, and I no sooner did than a large green pickle with 2 bandy legs sticking out of it sat down beside me. Want to buy the pickle? No, thanks. No.
Go ahead, it's free.
I only eat carrots. Thank you, just the same.
I suppose you know who I am?
As a matter of fact, I don't know.
Well, I shouldn't tell you, but I'm lonesome for somebody to talk to.
Yeah,
my wife's dancing with another man. Sometimes I think she only likes me for my money.
I find that hard to believe.
I have millions, you know, just millions. I'm Horace Montague, the Pickle King. I've sold more pickles than any living man.
Congratulations.
You like my costume?
Never smelled anything like it.
I came this time as just an ordinary new pickle. Sometimes I come as a dill, sometimes I come as a gherkin.
Oh, jolly.
Once I came as a sweet-sour mixture, and I got very confused.
Well, that's up to you.
I guess all I really have is my money, but I get tired of being so rich. It was fun in the early days. I was a pioneer, you know.
You started, I suppose, with just a wart.
Yes, that's very funny, very funny.
Yes, well, keep laughing, Horace. I have to be running along.
Thank you for talking to me.
I was beginning to feel like an extra in Alice in Wonderland and headed back for the solace of the punch bowl. I saw Mopsy Crockett standing with a foolish Bergère dancer and went over to him, but he suddenly turned and hopped away faster than I could hop after him. Why the coyness, I couldn't understand. When I finally caught up with him, 10 minutes later, he was waltzing with Anne of Austria, who was hanging on his every word, and that was a lot of hanging.
Darling, until you tasted my Lebkuchen, you had the spirit of Goethe, Schiller, Heine, all baked in one Kuchen.
Mind if I cut in?
Thank you, Mom.
I mean with the other rabbit. Come along, Mopsy.
But of all the
Excuse me, darling. I come later back. Hello, Sam. What do you hear from the mom?
The idea of avoiding me.
Me? Avoid you? I don't know what you mean.
Crockett, don't you remember just 10 minutes ago my chasing you all over the floor?
So help me, I don't.
Oh, there you are, my little bunny.
Yeah, here we are, Mrs. Montague.
All right, you can give me the crown now. I'm almost ready to announce the winner of the costume contest.
We haven't taken it out yet, Mrs. Montague.
You haven't? Well, you just said you were going to get it.
I didn't. Did you, Fritz?
Not I, Flopsy.
Now, Bunny, stop playing jokes. One of you came up to me a couple of minutes ago and said you lost the combinations of the safe, so I gave it to you again. You said you were going to get the crown. Now, where is it?
I don't know, but let's find it. When we arrived in the master bedroom, the worst had happened. The Degas original was down off the wall. The safe had been opened. Believe it or not, the $50,000 or $60,000 habitually kept in it wasn't even touched. But you, Mrs. Montague, weren't worried about the cash.
Oh, it's not there. The Josephine crown is gone. Oh, this is frightful. What will Horace say?
We're sorry, Mrs. Montague.
Sorry, you were supposed to guard it. It's your fault. Maybe you stole it yourself.
Mrs. Montague, we did nothing at the
I
time.
distinctly remember saying you were going to get it, and I did give you the combination again. I know. Oh, it's Horace. Horace, what happened, hubby dear?
I was walking down the hall, and a bunny came running out. Dragged me into a room, made me take off my pickle.
Oh.
He hit me on the head with something, and he took off his bunny suit, jumped right into my pickle, and ran off. Oh, my head.
Crockett and I dashed down the hall to the room the Pickle King had abdicated. On the floor was the limp, unfilled costume of A. Rabbit. The Montague's party not only had a Flopsy and a Mopsy, but it also had a thieving Cottontail.
The makers of Wild Root Cream Oil are presenting the weekly Sunday adventure of Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, Sam Spade. Now, here's important news on good grooming. If you want the well-groomed look that helps you get ahead, socially and on the job, listen. Recently, thousands of people from coast to coast who bought Wild Root Cream Oil for the first time were asked, how does Wild Root Cream Oil compare with the hair tonic you previously used? The results were amazing. Better than 4 out of 5 who replied said they preferred Wild Root Cream Oil. Remember, non-alcoholic Wild Root Cream Oil contains lanolin. It grooms the hair naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose, ugly dandruff. So if you want your hair to be more attractive than ever before, get the new 25-cent get-acquainted bottle of Wild Root Cream Oil, America's leading hair tonic, on sale at all drug and toilet goods counters. It's also available in larger economy bottles and the handy new tube. By the way, smart girls use Wild Root Cream Oil, too, and mothers say it's grand for training children's hair. Get Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. And now back to the Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail Caper. Tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
I left Fritz Crockett and you, Mrs. M, attending to Horace in your master bedroom and pounded down the stairs, through the guests, and out the front door. I was standing there wondering where to pick up the tracks of a rabbit-turned-pickle when I saw the Foley's Bergère dancer come running out of the Montague mansion through a side entrance and enter a taxi. I jumped into another cab and followed her, divesting myself of my Flopsy costume en route. She went almost to the west end of O'Farrell Street and entered a shabby gray apartment house. I followed. I knocked on every door until I found hers.
Yes?
It's me, the he-bunny, Flopsy, remember?
Why did you follow me here?
Voila, because you're so beautiful. May I come in?
No.
Thanks.
I said no. Did you not hear me?
Yes, but have no fears. I'm bonded. How did you know there was a detective's heart beating under my rabbit suit?
I am not going to answer. You have no right to come in here.
Come on, huh?
I think I overheard somebody say it. Now, if that is all you wanted to know, please go.
Why did you leave the party early?
Because it bored me. I thought America was not a police state. Why am I being questioned?
Because somebody stole the Josephine crown that belonged to Mrs. Montague, you see.
I heard that it was stolen, and I am delighted, but I did not steal it.
What's your name?
Charmaine Roger, and what is yours?
Sam Spade. Why are you so happy that the crown was stolen?
Because it does not belong in the ugly home of a rich American party giver.
Oh?
A childish woman who thinks only of her social position and her money.
Where does it belong?
In France, where it was made and where it was appreciated.
I see. How much is it worth?
In money, almost 50 million francs. In sentiment, more than one can say. Now, will you leave me
You're
alone?
saying that the crown means more to a Frenchman than money,
How would you like it if your Abraham Lincoln's death was being used by some French businessman to serve cocktails over?
I get the point.
I tell you again, I do not know what happened to the Josephine crown tonight. Do you believe me?
I did, but only because when she left the party, she wore only her costume, and that costume wouldn't have hidden, well, she couldn't have had it on her. I went a block up the street, picked up a cab, and sat in it until she came out 5 minutes later. She was now in street clothes and carrying an overnight case. She drove to Castle Street, and I followed. She went into a restaurant called La Parisienne. I waited a discreet moment, then went in. She was nowhere to be seen. But a tall, lean, black-haired individual approached me with a menu in his hand.
Good evening, monsieur. I regret to say that we are just closed.
I'm not interested in meeting you. Where's the girl who just came in?
Girl? In here?
Don't dummy on me. She walked right in here 30 seconds ago. Brown hair, red coat. Charmaine Roger by name.
You have made some mistake. You can see there was no one here.
I have made no mistake. Now come clean, will you?
Monsieur, contain yourself, please. Let me go. No girl came in, but if one did, there is no place to hide but the kitchen.
All right, then show me the kitchen.
Monsieur Bonneau. Monsieur. Oh, my. Spade.
Well, it didn't take you long to get here, Mr. Montague.
Well, Don't move, Mr. Spade. I have a knife at your neck.
Yes, I feel it.
Shall I take care of him, Monsieur Montague? No, Bonneau. Put down your knife.
Thanks.
Mr. Spade and I will sit down at the table and talk quietly. You can go. As you say, monsieur. But I will keep out an eye.
Let's keep an eye out.
Sit down, please. Spade, while you're here, I have a personal matter to take up with you.
About the Josephine crown?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry to report that as yet I haven't found it.
Good. I'd be happy if you never found it.
Oh? Does Mrs. Montague know you feel this way?
No, and I'd be equally happy if she didn't know.
Mm-hmm. In other words, you want me to stop looking for it?
That's the idea. Oh, you could make a pretense of trying to find it, but no more.
That's interesting.
I'll pay you a good fee if you do this for me.
Why don't you want it found, Mr. Montague?
Well, I'll talk to you man to man.
Please do.
A French girl showed up in town.
Charmaine Roger?
Well, have you seen her?
Quite a bit of her. At the party.
Well, she's young and beautiful, and right to the point, I was indiscreet.
I see.
She turned out to be more designing than I realized.
A blackmail?
Of a sort. She didn't want just money. She wanted the Josephine crown.
And you let them steal it?
Well, I told them I'd get them into the party, furnish them a car, and the rest is up to them.
Why didn't you just give them the crown?
Well, I couldn't. My wife values it too much. It's her prized possession. She even wears it around the house when just the two of us are there.
Oh, that's cute.
Now, will you forget about this, Spade?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Montague. I'm hired out to your wife, who asked me to guard it. I did a bad job, so it's up to me to get it back, you see.
No, Spade, I can't afford a scandal with that girl.
Well, you'll have to work that out for yourself.
Very well. I'm sorry.
I must admit, Mrs. Montague, I underestimated your husband, for at that point he produced a gun out of thin air and very professionally relieved me of mine. He called the proprietor, Bonneau, who appeared with Charmaine Roger. They held an immediate kangaroo court. Sentence was about to be pronounced when the front door burst open, and in swept a tall character in black beret and cape and sporting a handlebar mustache. Prominently pinned on his cape were a brace of French war medals, including the Croix de Guerre and so on. His entrance held everybody bug-eyed, including me.
Keep your mouth shut, Spade.
What a joyous, charming gathering have we here. Oh, the glow of warm friendship fills the room like a cottage fireplace in Alsace-Lorraine. No, it cannot be. Can I believe these weary eyes of mine? Is it not truly my intime ami, Monsieur Montague? I kiss you on both cheeks in happiness.
Who is it? I don't seem to remember.
Oh, what? You have not so soon forgotten me. We met at the legation in 38. Those years. Do you not recall the nights in Montmartre and the days in Montparnasse? Oh, my goodness. Parbleu!
When he bent over to kiss Montague again, his mustache fell off. As usual, Crockett had overplayed. And before he could straighten up, Bonneau hit him in the back of the head, and he fell flat on his face, out cold. That was my cue to go into action. I turned over the table, wrestled with Horace and Bonneau, while Charmaine was striking at me with the heel of a shoe. I got to the gun first, and everything came to a sudden lull. At that point, Fritz Crockett came too.
Oh, mes amis, where did the sudden darkness come from?
Yeah, well, you can drop the dialect, Crockett.
Oh.
I wish I had a picture of you there on the floor for your scrapbook.
Oh, it was in the act, Sam, all in the act.
Yeah, well, you think you're well enough to hold this gun while I make a search?
Oh, leave it to me, Sam. Everything will be under control. Now, stand back, everybody. I'm in charge here. The U.S. government is not entirely without influence in Washington.
The Josephine Crown hidden in the baking oven and called the police. I was afraid the incident struck a blow at Franco-American relations until a search of Charmaine Rouget and Bonneau produced 2 tickets not to Paris or Pointe French, but to Rio de Janeiro. And you know the rest, Mrs. Montague. Your husband went home and you forgave him. He made a superb gesture and contributed to international harmony by returning the Josephine Crown to the French Historical Society. And when you asked who might be the man to guard the crown safely back to La Belle France, I was overjoyed to be in a position to recommend to you Fritz Crockett. I hope he marries Soubrette and stays over there. Period. End of report.
Oh, Sam. Isn't that Fritz Crockett an exciting man?
Don't let's talk any more about him. Let him get his own program. The first person in this office to mention his name again is a rotten egg. Now go type that up.
Don't buy a different brand of hair tonic for every member of your family. Get the one kind they all like. Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Wild Root Cream Oil grooms your hair neatly and naturally, relieves annoying dryness, and removes loose, ugly dandruff. Get a bottle or tube tonight. And ask your barber for a professional application of Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too.
Oh, thanks, Sonny.
Sam Spade Detective Agency. Oh, it's for you, Sam.
Hello.
It's me, Sam. Fritz.
Oh, no.
I'm at the airport. I just wanted to tell you I'll be out of town for a while. Won't be using the office, so just take the whole thing over.
Well, that's very generous of you.
And you can use Effie if you need her for anything.
Well, I'll never be able to repay you.
Oh, that's all right. You did a pretty good job on the caper today.
Thanks.
I was just talking with Mrs. Montague, and I told her, I said...
I'm looking over. I've had enough of him for one day. Come here. Tonight you'll have to be satisfied with my one arm.
Oh, that's good enough for me. Oh, good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.
Good night, Fritz.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, are produced and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade is played by Howard Duff. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. The Adventures of Sam Spade are written for radio by Bob Tallman and Gil Dowd. Musical direction by Lud Gluskin, with score composed by Renee and Pierre Garrigang. Join us again next Sunday when author Dashiell Hammett and producer William Spear join forces for another adventure with Sam Spade. Brought to you transcribed by Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. This is Dick Joy reminding you to
Get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. It keeps your hair in trim. You see, it's non-alcoholic, Charlie. It's made with soothing lanolin. You better get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. Start using it today. You'll find that you will have a tough time, Charlie. Keeping all the gals away. Hiya, Baldy. Get Wild Root right away.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Sam Spade Detective
It's me, F. Is Carlos Salceda, the Mexican consul, called?
No, Sam.
Well, he will. Tell him it's not what we thought it was. To hold everything, I'll get to him as soon as I can.
Yes, Sam, you sound so tired. Are you all right?
Oh, I am and I'm not. There were too many windmills to chase, too much language I didn't understand, and much too much venganza, which is Spanish for vendetta, which is English for vengeance. In any language, it's dynamite with a short fuse.
Then you knew what it was all about all along, Sam. It was revenge.
It was and it wasn't.
Oh, I'm afraid I don't understand. What about the girl? Is she all right?
She is and she isn't.
I am confused.
Exactly par for the course. But don't worry, Ed. It'll straighten out like starch spaghetti when I come down to say it with flowers, dictating, as I will, my report of fury and ferment on the Red Amapola Caper. Amapola, my pretty little poppy.
Oh, Sam.
That's as off key as I'll be today.
Mr. Salcido called. I told him what you told me to tell him.
For more I couldn't ask, Ed.
He understood what you meant perfectly. I don't understand a thing.
You will. You know, I may have to trade this stuff in for tequila. No messing around there, straight to the point. A virtue some people might do well to cultivate.
Just tell me one thing, Sam. Was it a sour cake?
Let's not tarry F to the point, remember? Pad ready.
Oh.
Pencil poised. Knees crossed.
Yes, Sam.
Skirt a little bit higher.
Oh. But all I want to know is...
All right. Date, fill it in. To Detective Lieutenant Kelsey, Homicide Detail, San Francisco Police, from Samuel Spade, license number 17596. Subject, the Red Amapola Caper. The following is, as you requested, a detailed account of the 31 hours, 16 minutes I spent on the case of Armando Rios and daughter. I trust it will answer all your questions, solve your commissioner problems, and enable you to speedily dispatch your duty as one of the city's finest. May heaven help our city. So come back with me to 3 p.m. yesterday, the approximate time I stepped into my office and saw, standing nervously by the window, a Mexican girl in her early 20s. Her clothes, though neat and clean, were rummage sale specials which had seen better days. Her bare legs were too thin, her features too drawn. But the midnight color of her hair and the largeness of her eyes told me she could have been beautiful if things had gone another way.
I'm glad you have come. I couldn't have waited much longer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were here.
My name is Andrea Rios. I would like to hire you.
Mm-hmm.
But I do not have much money.
Well, much money may not be needed, Miss Rios. What is it you want?
Your time, Mr. Spade. You see, if you accept this job, I must have all of your time from now until tomorrow morning. If you cannot accept, you must tell me now so I can get someone else.
I see.
I can only pay $30. I know it is much to ask for $30, but...
Ask for more for less.
The job may be difficult for you. You will not be able to sleep.
Well, I can make that up on somebody else's time.
Then you will help.
Yes, I think so. I would like to hear more about it.
We will go to my father. You will learn more there.
She led me to the nearest streetcar, headed for south of the slot, and paid the fare. 20 minutes later, we were walking through the San Francisco that's left over, where the liquor is cheap and one cigarette is property. The sounds of a jazzed-up Spanish song caught my ear, and the beer signs turned to cerveza. The building Andrea Rios picked to go into was old enough to give the termites indigestion. A faded sign said, La Casa Azul. He knocked on the door of room 12.
Yes. Andrea, Papa.
The weather-beaten face that stood in the doorway figured to be 60, but the age should have come from concern. He wore a black sweatshirt, pants to match, and a dirty white sailor's cap. Inside on the table sat a bottle of high-octane joy juice, that witch hazel with a misnomer, tequila. The lemon and salt stood alongside. On the bed lay a duffel bag with the block letters Santa Susana.
Está este nombre, papá.
¿Cómo se llama?
Señor Spade, el detectivo. My father speaks no English.
I see.
¿Tienes confianza en él? ¿Es honrado?
She asks if you are an honest man.
It's a question no man can answer with complete honesty.
¿Qué le has dicho, André? ¿Qué sabe?
Nada, papá.
Siéntese, hombre. ¿Un traguito?
My father says to sit down and have a drink.
Tell Father I will, but I'd enjoy it more if I knew why I was hired.
Yes, of course. To spend the night here, Mr. Spade, with my father. To keep an eye on him all the time.
Protection?
No.
Well, there must be more to it.
We want you to be able to testify to my father's whereabouts this night, if it should become necessary.
Mm-hmm. What's going to happen this night?
something.
And you want your father in the clear?
Yes.
Well, that sounds fair enough. That's all there is. I'll have that drink now. There'll be enough to last. The window pane came flying in, and the ugly muzzle of a .45 silencer attached stuck through. I yelled, so did Andrea. But the gun yelled louder and with more effect. The bullet struck Andrea in the side. She lurched crazily, then folded in her father's arms. She began to mumble her name and cry. I jumped to the window. Pulling away was a black Buick sedan with driver unidentifiable. So were the license plates. They were covered tightly with a cloth. It was a pro job from beginning to end, and a clean getaway. Well, Andrea was still alive, but not by much. I turned up a phone in the lobby. One nickel got me to the emergency hospital. The other brought me homicide. When I got back to the room, Andrea was still lying there, but she was alone. Armando Rios, her father, had gone. And I thought I knew why.
Revenge, huh?
Exactly, Lieutenant. I think Rios knows who shot his daughter because I think the bullets were meant for him and she got him by mistake.
Huh?
I think, therefore, that Rios has got revenge on his mind. Now, let you have Rios picked up before he does something he can't get out of.
Yeah, I'll make a note of that.
Also make a note as follows. I, Lieutenant Kelsey, will check the Mexican consul for background on Rios because I, Lieutenant Kelsey, believe Rios is a Mexican national.
Not so fast, sir.
Furthermore, I, Lieutenant Kelsey, will make a close check of all incoming police calls for the rest of the night because something is going to happen for which Rios wanted an alibi. When I find out what same is, I will graciously inform Sam Spade.
Sam, how do you spell graciously?
I went to the offices of several Mexican-language newspapers, told them the story, and asked them to give the place of prominence to the fact that Andrea was alive, asking Armando Rios to go directly to the nearest police station and wait until contacted. I then went to the Maritime Service and queried about the Santa Susana. I was told it was a sport fishing vessel owned by its captain, J. Mortigan, with office in the Ocean Building on the Embarcadero. The nameplate on the Titian-haired secretary's desk said Janice Odell.
Yes? Could I help you, please?
I think so. This the office of the Santa Susana?
Oh, you're planning a fishing trip. Well, then you've come to the right place. Santa Susana has excellent accommodations, is thoroughly outfitted for an extended cruise in the Bay of California, where, as you know, exist some of the greatest fishing waters in the world.
If it's the same to you, miss, I'll do my fishing here. My name is Spade. I'm a private detective. I am trying to locate an Armando Rios.
Rios?
I said something? You know him? He's got a berth on the Santa Susana.
Well, he has... At least he had. What's he done, Mr. Spade?
Well, it's what he will do that bothers me. You say he had a berth. Would you explain, please?
Just a moment, Mr. Spade. Captain Mortigan, there's a private detective out here asking about Armando Rios.
Rios? Well, send him in, Janice. Come on, move lively.
In here, Mr. Spade.
Thank you.
My name's Mortigan, Captain Mortigan. I skipper the Santa Susana, the finest sport fishing vessel ever to touch salt water.
Everybody's got a commercial.
Miss Odell says you're asking about Rios.
I am. I'm trying to locate him.
And so am I. I've got steam up and a dozen people waiting. Rios knows those Mexican fishing waters like no one I've met. And where is he? Jumped ship, if you ask me. Scampering around San Francisco or dead drunk in some infamous den from that cactus poison he drinks.
If the storm's over, Captain, I'd like to ask you a few questions. Where does Rios room when he's in San Francisco?
Stays right on the ship.
Did you know he had a daughter?
No.
You don't have any idea, I suppose, why Rios jumped ship.
It's a woman. That's my guess. It's always a woman.
But that is just a guess. All right, Captain, I'll make a small-sized deal with you. If I find Rios, I'll notify you. If you find him first, notify me. I'll leave you my card. Mortigan agreed, and I left, pausing only long enough in the front office to give Janice Odell my phone number in case she saw Rios. She gave me her phone number, and it was a fair exchange. 20 minutes later, Lieutenant, I was meeting with Carlos Salcedo of the Mexican consul's office. A wire he had sent to Mexico City had brought results.
So, Mr. Spade, you have not yet found Armando Rios, but are still desirous of preventing him from consummating his revenge. I fear perhaps you are too late.
What information have you got, Mr. Salcedo?
First, Armando Rios was arrested in the Mexican state of Sinaloa for the growing of the Red Amapola. You are aware of what that is?
Amapola means poppy from the song of the same name.
Exactly. The red poppy grown for the production of narcotics. The arrest occurred on August 19th, 1946. Rios served 3 years in the penitentiary as a result, convicted mainly on the testimony of an Ernesto Sabado, who Rios claimed, as you say, framed him. Now, look at this. An inquiry from the Office of the District Attorney of Marin County, California, requesting information about a Mexican national whose dead body was discovered 2 hours ago, washed ashore at Point Bonito. A Mexican national whose name is...
Ernesto Sabado.
Precisely.
Yeah. And you think perhaps Rios killed Sabado?
A distinct possibility, Mr. Spade, since he had motive.
Well, that's exactly why I don't think he did it. Rios knew Sabado was going to be killed sometime tonight. That's the reason Andrea hired me, so her father's whereabouts could be accounted for and so he could not be accused. No, Mr. Salcedo, I don't think Rios killed Sabado.
Well, I hope you are right, for his sake and for his daughter's, who we both hope will get well.
The one who killed Sabado is probably the same one who drives a black Buick sedan who took those pot shots at Rios and caught Andrea instead. The same one who Rios has now got a vendetta against.
Ah, venganza.
However you say it, it's a sucker's play, but how do you stop him if you can't find him? Thank you, Mr. Salcedo.
I must admit, Mr. Spade, I do not fully understand your concern over Rios.
As a matter of fact, I'm not sure of it myself, but he got a rotten shuffle. I got a night's pay, so I might as well work for it. Besides, well, I'll let you know what develops. The next 4 hours, dear Lieutenant, were spent in questioning the following. A, 2 members of the crew of the Santa Susana. B, assorted residents of La Casa Azul. C, Inspector Gruber of the Marin County DA's office assigned to the Zabato case. Some total of information garnered concerning the whereabouts of Armando Rios and or the identity of the gunman he was after, 0. I was tired, I was depressed, I had a headache. 5 minutes to 11, a client of mine dropped into a payphone in a booth by a gas station closed for the night. My intention was to find out if you had turned up anything and to ask how Andrea was, but you never got to hear my honeyed voice.
Hang it up, Spade.
It was a voice that wasn't familiar. The 45 with silencer affixed, however, was. It didn't take me long to start perspiring.
Leave the nickel, Spade. You won't need it.
Good evening. I've been wondering about you.
I'll bet you have.
You're sort of a novelty, you know, the only myopic gunman I've ever met.
What's that mean?
You're nearsighted. You got the wrong person back at La Casa Azul. Boss will have to send you out again for Rios.
I don't like you, Spade. I don't know you, but I don't like you anyway. Guess I'll kill you so I'll never have to take a chance of knowing you. Now, come on, step out, gumshoe.
He urged me out of the phone booth up the street a few paces to the head of an alley with a blind end. There he parked himself in a fire plug. I wished him all sorts of bad luck, and he told me to start walking into the alley. Mine was small choice. But as I moved away from the gunsel toward the alley's end, my eyes searched for means of escape.
All right, Spade. That's far enough. Now I'm going to pick your eyes out. Turn around.
I stood frozen for a moment, then spun and looked. The gunsel had pitched onto the sidewalk, but the 45 was still in his hand. I moved up to him slowly with a maximum of caution and took a closer look. He was as dead as he could get. A knife in his back had done the job. That's when I looked up the street and saw a figure in fast retreat. It wore a black sweatshirt, pants to match, and a dirty white sailor cap. It looked very much like the venganza of Armando Rios was accomplished. You arrived at the scene of the crime, Lieutenant, where you took over in your own masterly way. By the adroit maneuver of looking into the dead man's wallet, you uncovered the fact that he was a Los Angeles import named Max Rapper. You then examined the knife in his back and discovered, as I had previously, the initials AR, for Armando Rios, cut into the handle. That, plus the fact that I and other witness had seen Armando Rios flee the scene, made it open and shut. Rios was now wanted for murder. When we got to your office, a message had been received by Sergeant Polehouse from Dr. Pennington of General Hospital. It said, 1, Andrea Rios was going to live. 2, she wanted to see Sam Spade. Was it all right? You had no objection, but I had a problem. What to say to her? Could I say it was nice she was going to get well, and, oh, by the way, your father just killed Max Rapper, and the state will do likewise to him, or what? My mind still hadn't lit on anything it liked when Pennington walked me down the hospital corridor toward her room.
Yeah, she's a lucky girl, Mr. Spade. Could have gone the other way.
Yeah, would have been unlucky.
I'll wait outside. Don't stay too long.
The jet black of her hair gave contrast to the whiteness of the room. Her face had lost much of its color, but none of the anxiety had gone out of her eyes. We talked chit-chat for a while. It was easy to see she had a question she wanted to ask, but had trouble getting it out. Finally, it came.
Mr. Spade, have you heard... is there any news of the death of a man called Ernesto Zavaro?
Yes, the police found his body washed ashore some hours ago.
My father did not kill him.
No, he's clear on that. I can testify.
Oh, that is what I was worrying about. Now, Mr. Spade, I can tell you what you do not know about my father and Ernesto Zavaro.
I already know. Carlos Salcedo, the Mexican consul, told me.
The Red Amapola?
Yeah.
Oh, it was an unfortunate affair for a great many people, Mr. Spade. Buyers from the United States came to Sinaloa. With money, the peasants were lured into growing the poppy.
Mm-hmm.
Many knew no better. Many did not know what it was for. They knew simply to grow the red flower brought more money than to grow food. When the police came, they suffered. The buyers were nowhere to be found. Anyway, it's all right now. My father did not kill Ernesto Zavaro.
No, Lieutenant, she did not learn about Max Rapper's killing from me, or that her father was now a fugitive wanted for murder. I also didn't ask her some questions I could have asked, like, how did she know Zapata was going to be killed? Did Rapper do it, and why? Somehow it didn't matter. It had turned sour all the way down the line. And besides Zapata was Inspector Gruber's problem, not mine. 20 minutes later, I walked into my apartment, uncorked a live one, and started at the top. 4 fingers down, the phone began to ring, but I didn't pay any attention. The sky was just beginning to light up with morning, and I remember saying to myself I was still technically on the Rios case, but actually there was no case to be on. When I couldn't stand the phone rings any longer, I lifted the receiver off the hook.
Sam? Sam?
Hello?
Sam, this is Janice Adele. I just saw Rios.
Well,
He's going to kill Captain Mortigan.
Mortigan? Why
We
Mortigan?
went to the Santa Susana after him. Pier 32. Rios is wild. Stop him, Sam.
Why call me? Call a cop. Hello? Hello? "12 minutes later, I was moving through the early fog of the waterfront looking for the Santa Susana. Black letters on a bobbing white bow led me to it, but no signs of life came from aboard ship. A quick tour had me believing it was deserted and that either Rios had caught up with Mortigan someplace else, for what reason I didn't know but could guess, or that Janice had given me wrong information. Moments later, however, in the boiler room, it was clear she hadn't. The furnace was open, coals were spread on the floor, and so was a dead Captain Mortigan. Slouched in a chair with his eyes closed in a daze was a worn-out Armando Rios. He should have been. He'd had a busy night. Rios?
Se murió.
Wake up, Rios.
Se murió. El capitán se murió, señor Spade.
In any language, he's dead, if that's what you mean. You couldn't be any clearer.
Es él. Es el hombre. Es su culpa que Andrea fue enterrado. Ahora está muerto. Y no he obtenido la venganza.
Venganza. Too much venganza. You fixed it fine. Andrea's going to feel swell about it. Oh, what's the use? Come on, Rios.
Hello? Hello? Who's down there?
Kelsey?
Oh, it's you, Sam. What are you doing here? Got a call from a girl named Belle or something.
Odell.
Oh, yeah. Is this Rios? Oh, what have you got to say for yourself? You ready to sign a statement?
He doesn't understand you, Kelsey.
Oh, dummying up, huh?
He doesn't speak English.
Well, he won't get off that easily. We'll sweat it out of him.
No lo hice. No lo maté al capitán.
Yeah? That's what they all say. Wow. Look at this. He's carrying a gun.
Gun? Why would he use a knife if he had a gun?
Don't ask me. I don't speak Spanish. Say, what's all this coal doing on the floor? It's messy. Looks bad in photographs.
Yeah, well... Wait a minute. Lieutenant, you've done it again. I picked up a lump of the coal. There was a small hole bored into the center. Examination of others revealed the same thing. Curious, you'd say? Not so when you start thinking about 1, the Red Amapola, 2, the fact that Zabato's killing still remained unexplained, and 3, and bingo, narcotics smuggling. A phone book gave me an address on Jackson, and a rap on a door got me a quick reply.
Oh, Sam.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, Janice. I didn't wake you up, did I?
Well?
If so, you must sleep in your clothes, and that suitcase on the bed must make it kind of cramped.
What are you doing here, Sam?
Uh-huh. Heavy, all packed.
Just going on a little vacation for a few days.
Where to?
Well,
Got a plane ticket on the dresser? Las Vegas. Hot there this time of the year. Of course, it's hot here, too, for some of us.
What do you want?
I want you to open your suitcase.
I won't do it.
Then I will.
Sam, don't do it.
Well, what's this, Janice? No, I've already guessed. How much worth? Zabato was killed by Rapper on Captain Mortigan's orders because he knew this was coming in on the Santa Susana and probably wanted a cut to keep his mouth shut. Rapper and Mortigan got theirs, not by Rios, but by you, so you could fall heir to this. Poor old Rios, old and wanted. He might have muffed his revenge, so you took no chances. Did them in yourself with Rios, your nice, fat, convenient pigeon.
Sam.
But the police are going to find it harder and harder to get a case against Rios, and easier to get one against you. These narcotics in your possession will go a long way.
Sam, listen to me.
Just as long as I've got a gun in my hand, I'll listen to you, baby.
There's over $100,000 worth here, and I know where to unload it.
Mm-hmm. And what's in it for me?
Half. And something else.
Yeah?
Me.
Uh-huh. That would seem to be worth considering, wouldn't it?
Sam, a chance to make something out of yourself and not grub around for a few lousy bucks all your life. You're going to turn me over to the cops?
Not just any old cop, Janice. I want something befitting your character. I'm going to turn you over to Lieutenant Kelsey. And that, Lieutenant, brings you up to date. Period. End of report.
That awful girl.
We'll talk about it later, Eph.
But...
Later. Go type it up.
Well, here it is, Sam. Can we talk about it now?
We can.
How could that girl have thought for one single moment she could turn a man like you into her accomplice?
Very poor judgment.
To sell dope yet?
Yes. Do I look the type?
I should say not. You're upstanding and clean cut.
Well, thank you. Maybe she was nearsighted, too.
Anyway, I'm glad it's over and it had a happy ending.
Well, I'm glad if you're glad. Now, rush that over to Kelsey so he can look good in the eyes of the commissioner. Then phone Mr. Salcedo and tell him the lieutenant's got all the facts. And one thing more.
Yes, Sam?
Have the florist send a bouquet of flowers to Andrea at the hospital.
Oh, Sam, that's very nice of you.
Think so? One thing still more. Close your eyes and have the florist send a bouquet of flowers to you, too.
Sam!
Easy, Ed. How do you know it's not coming out of your salary?
That's true, too. Good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.